welcome to the 18th episode. 18th! Happy 18 years, or not 18 years.
It's finally legal.
Yeah, welcome to the 18th episode of the ESOU podcast. With me is Alywels, and featuring special guest, the real Godzilla. So, just like with everybody else who's come onto the show, we just kind of let you introduce yourself, if you want to do that.
Sure.
Do you want me to call you? Do you want me to call you like Godzilla, Zilla, or do you want me to say the full name, real Godzilla?
Zilla's fine.
Okay.
Well, so like just introduce like kind of like me and like kind of my channel. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I started playing ESO on launch on console like way back in the day. Didn't really do a whole lot of content. I watched a lot of people like Deltia, Cypher, all those OG guys. I've been playing on console PvP pretty much religiously for the past, I guess, 6-7 years now. Really started to get into the content like about a year ago, I would say, with the help of Pink. She's my significant other. I don't know if you know who that is or not, but she's amazing. She's really helped me a lot with my content.
Like Pink the singer?
No. the real Pink star.
Oh, is she an ESO player as well?
Yeah. So we actually,
sweet. Okay.
We met on ESO. She was zerging me down in the city, and I teabagged her, and then the rest is history. But
Can I teabag you IRL?
How'd it go from?
Oh, sorry.
But
how'd it go from her zerging you down to like that's kinda
well,
cool.
she was radiant and pressuring me at full health on my Magic Dragonite, and I was using Deep Breath, and so that was back in the day where if you were using a channel ability, right, like Radiant Oppression or something, you got put on your knees every single time.
Yeah.
So it was like endlessly spamming it on me, and I kept on using Deep Breath, and she kept falling over. It was funny. But yeah, so that's way back in the day. But here recently, I've really started to get into the content stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a different side of things though. Like people don't understand the aspect of the YouTube part and doing content and also playing the game itself. It's like a weird dynamic.
Oh yeah.
After you get into it, but I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm looking to branch off into other games, obviously, like with Elden Ring and whatnot, getting into the PvP stuff. But overall, I still love ESO. I'm very worried about next update for the PvP side of things for the healing, but that's Zos's game, and we'll just always adjust like we have.
Yeah.
What do you mean by healing next patch?
Well, the impact of the hybridization of heals for stamina builds, I think most people are going to utilize Resto Staves, Stamina or Magic in PvP. Cross healing is a big issue that's not really been addressed in a long time. I mean, it was fixed for a little bit whenever they turned off cross healing. So, but people complained, the larger groups. Whenever that happened, it was a lot more skill based. So it didn't matter if you had 24 people on you, you couldn't all heal the people like there. They had to be in your group. I wouldn't even mind if there's a 24-man group size if cross healing was disabled. But the issue is with the hybridization of heals, rapid regeneration, or radiant regeneration is the biggest issue, where you can have stamina builds using that plus all their damage capabilities. It's basically going to make stamina builds pretty much on par with magic builds in group play, but while also stamina builds can roll dodge spam constantly and have a lot more survivability in that route. But that's, I guess, from a console perspective as well. Because I know PC people are a little bit tankier than us console players.
Yeah. I mean,
I
noticed recently I was playing non-CP in Mid-Year Mayhem, and I've come back to CP, and everyone is so tanky. Like, hardly anyone is dying at all. So yeah, we'll see how the next update affects that.
And that's not even really going into the aspects of like intensive mender on Stam Crows. Necros are already tanky, and like Stam Crows are going to be able to utilize intensive mender much more reliably now because of the hybrid scaling, which is a big, like Stam Crows are already tanky, and now they're even tankier with intensive mender. You have the buff to Blessing of Restoration, which I think is great, but like that's only going to really help the Magden, and it really needs some help overall, the Magical Warden. But there's a lot of dynamic things that we could really go into and talk about.
Oh yeah, for sure we should talk about it.
Yeah.
So
That's just scratching the surface, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot to talk about this podcast. Like, I feel like personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of content creation, like you've been starting off really strong. I think. I think you skyrocketed in the past year. I think for sure, because every time someone brings up PvP or like who I should have for the next podcast, your name is like the first or second name that always come up.
Yeah.
For PvP. And
that's flattering. That
cool
I would
see.
never thought I would have had that much of an impact, but
yeah,
you never know.
It's cool to say. I was like, who's that?
Yeah.
And I look it up. Oh, this guy. Like I like the thumbnails.
Yeah.
I like the video. I like the cadence of it. It looks really good. I think you touch on quite a lot of topics.
Try to. I just give my thoughts on the internet. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's cool. So you were originally from PlayStation or Xbox?
Well, PlayStation.
PlayStation.
I'm still on PlayStation. I've only delved into PC on the PTS just to provide my insight.
You don't play on live for PC?
No,
you just test things on PTS for content.
Correct.
Basically. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Would you ever PvP on PC?
I mean, I don't want to grind up a whole new character. I know it's much easier than it is now, but I just don't have the time, honestly, to grind up something new.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I'd signed up for that like NA raiding competition, and I realized, oh shit, I'd have to grind a character. Yeah, let's not do that.
Imagine not having an event on you. You guys have more people too.
Yeah. But we have loads of guilds, but they're all the same players. It's like the same 20 guys.
Oh, you're looking at the score pushers, not the overall.
Oh well, maybe
that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But so PS5. I talked to. I don't really hang out with PvPers as much as I used to. For various
they don't
reasons.
hang out with you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of them don't hang out with me either. But I still talk to like close friends who are PvPers, and some of them happen to come from console too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know Ness.
Yeah.
He's one of the people I sometimes talk to about PvP, and he told me, I think like a few months ago, that PlayStation is kind of dead in terms of PvP population. Is it dead, or is it just kind of like on and on?
Greyhost is not dead.
Okay.
Greyhost has population, typically in the evenings. Every night it's pretty much 3 bars. However, it's unplayable where it doesn't even matter the population. It's so laggy in the main campaigns, and it's been this way for going on a good year at this point. Like the lag has been there, but something happened in the past 2 years where the lag is just utterly unplayable in Greyhost. Like your abilities, 3-4 second delay, all that stuff. But in Blackreach, it's not too bad, but you run into the typical ball group zergs that run in there in the evenings, and it's hard to get small scale anymore. Like there's not enough little runts running around just to zerging it up a little bit. It's all just 30k heal bots in groups with DKs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find most of my enjoyment in PvP right now in Battlegrounds. That's where I do most of my PvP. I really enjoy BGs.
Small scale, definitely. It's Battlegrounds.
Even though it is annoying sometimes with the healing, but I'll take that any day of the week over. And typically what happens most of the time in those BGs in itself is me and Pink duo queue, and we get 2 4-man pre-mades, and we still do well. But we're always, it's just me and her against the world every single time in BGs. But it's still a lot of fun. We enjoy it. Even though it's always outnumbered.
Sounds like you need a 3rd and 4th wheel.
Yeah, you go on like a double date.
Or another couple, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That'd be a nice video, I think.
Very cute.
Couple CP, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I said before that like couples that do raids together, there's usually one that's a lot worse than the other. But I reckon in PvP, that's going to totally work. That's going to be fine, having a couple's PvP, because like...
She's better than me. She's beat everybody on the server.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Really?
That's what you want.
Yeah, she's OP. Everybody likes to say that she's like the most OP healer, but she doesn't even hit her heals half the time anyway. She's always focused on damage. She runs, I set up her build. She's running like Grace Gloom and Olarim, but she goes for damage all the time instead of heals. She's a warden.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
She's main Templar forever and decided to jump on the warden train because they can have so much better healing.
Yeah. How do you feel about the stuff with like purges with the Plague Break set? Because I feel like that's really changed healing dramatically.
I mean, from my perspective and outnumbered all of the time, it's not really changed too much. But I definitely love Plague Break. It's one of my favorite things right now. It's so needed for Xing situations, especially when it explodes whenever somebody dies. It's not even necessarily the purges anymore. It's whenever you can do a chain reaction. It's like a mini vicious death with a dot is all it is.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing some terrible things with it recently. I've been playing Magicka Necro like healer. But what I've been doing is I've been using that like Breath of Life that buffs their resistances.
Yeah, the resilient flesh.
Resilient flesh, and then I drop like Enduring Undeath, which is like an AoE purge.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
And then I'm just like killing. I'm bombing Pact. I'm bombing my own teammates. I'm an idiot, but it is quite funny. You see people in like yell chat like, "Stop purging." Oops, wasn't me. Sorry.
I've seen some pretty dope videos where people are using Vicious Death and Plague Break. That's nasty.
Yeah, it's good.
That's so nasty.
It's good for a bomber.
That's so nasty.
Yeah.
I used it on
a buddy with Dark Convergence and a Colossus.
Did you ever see old school Cypher bombs in Imperial City?
Yeah.
So where he used Vicious Death. Well, it's I've used a similar build. That's the one I fell in love with the Soul Tether bombs. So you just use the same thing with Vicious Death and Plague Break, and it literally melts people. I used it during the event, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what do you typically play then?
I play here recently. I pretty much have played every class, duels, open world, small scale BGs. I've done pretty much everything, and that's not me being conceited. I just played this game for so long, but I mainly play right now any class with a good spammable skill, like Standblade, Magic DK, and Templar. Those are the main three classes right now. Dizzy Swing doesn't work in lag, so playing a Warden or something like that isn't a go for me.
But if you tried Master Two-Hander Warden with Brawler, that's pretty fun. Especially if you're like small scaling and you're up against
Brawler, I think it's better for mouse and keyboard, but for a controller, the Brawler is definitely more difficult to land.
Really?
Because it's very clunky. It's so clunky. It's so clunky.
In what way?
Well, when you're trying to aim it, it doesn't hit. It's not as reliable as Whirling Blades. I notice on like with skills with cones, like frontal cones, like Dawnbreaker, don't stun people anymore because it's with the cast time and whatnot. Brawler, like it has a delay on it where they have to be like further in front of you than what it seems because it has like a T-Rex arms or something like that. That's the best way to describe it. But something like Whirling Blades with 2 Swift hits much more reliably because it actually hits around me rather than in front of me. So that's why Whirling Blades and whatnot, and like classes with a good spammable puncturing sweeps on a Templar, surprise attack on a Nightblade, whatever. But just the Whirling Blades is just much better than Brawler, at least for me in my playstyle.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't even considered like, on a server where obviously everyone has a controller instead of a mouse and keyboard, the meta might be completely different.
It's just a little bit different. One thing that's actually pretty big is movement, like getting behind the person you're fighting, because think about this. Like, so you can just easily turn your, like, move your mouse, but on PlayStation you have to move your analog sticks in a direction where at the same time to get to hit somebody behind you every single time. So if you can consistently stay behind somebody, it can be very frustrating, especially for somebody that's not as advanced. And it's there's some legs up that you can do and really exploit if you're experienced on the sticks console.
Yeah. Do you get bunny hoppers still? Is every mag sork like bunny hopping?
Well, I bunny hop all over the place.
Okay, so that's.
But I don't play mag sork.
Right.
I hate mag sork.
Yeah, that's. What do you hate mag sork?
Yeah, everyone does it, to be honest.
Mag sork. There's something with mag sorks and their egos. On console. Yeah, dude. Mag sorks and egos are legit. Like, ask anybody on PlayStation.
Like,
yes.
So if you play mag sork, you're egotistical.
Correct.
Is there some sort of history with that?
It just seems like it. A lot of mag sorks have egos.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just a.
I'd say a lot of mag sorks have no friends. Like they seem to be solo players. I feel.
Okay. Huh.
Not all of them, of course. But...
No, mag sorks don't have friends. No, they do. Maybe it's just a PS5 thing, PS4 thing.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
But I know that Sork is much better on PC though, because of the camera movement. Because I can't 180 streak like Malcolm can.
Right.
It's so big, so much of a difference. Like, if Sork has been OP, back in the day, whenever King Richard and all those guys played, but it's been nerfed to the ground so much that it's almost unplayable on console because shields don't really shield that much anymore. Yeah. The damage and the burst and how we're in a tanky meta and how so important healing over time is right now, shields just don't cut it anymore compared to what they used to.
Man, I remember when they tried to nerf the heck out of shields. There was a cast time.
Yeah, I remember that.
The shields couldn't stack. Obviously, they reversed most of that, but they did nerf the values quite hard. Like, you don't see 30, 40k plus shields anymore.
Yeah, there's still caps to your health now, right? So.
That shit was insane.
There's a lot of things. I think if I could get one thing for ZOS to change, one thing for PvP that would make it much better, would be remove cast times on ultimates. End cap, Dawnbreaker, press and sweep. All of those things literally mess up with the game 10 times worse whenever there's lag, especially in Greyhost. I've hit a Dawnbreaker on somebody's noggin, and they were in front of me and still didn't get stunned by it. Because of the cast time.
Accidentally cancelling it with like a roll dodge or a block or any of these things. It's really annoying.
Because you could anti-cancel, like you said, with block, and you could instantly drop a DB and stun people in front of you. Now it's so slow.
Yeah.
What was the reason for that again? Because this has been a huge point of contention. I think the reasoning in the patch notes was something about like allowing for counterplay, right? Because people were animation canceling, like in-cap or Dawnbreaker. I'm just kind of, I don't know, man. Like, it's.
I don't think they're that.
I think it's probably tied to server performance somehow too. I don't know. It seems like ESO is a game where everything's tied in with server performance at this point.
I don't know. I mean, the counterplay to an extent I could see it, but it's just at a point to where how much are you gonna hold the community's hand to tell them, hey, like if you hit an ability faster and you can hit more buttons per minute, that just means you're more experienced, and I don't think that should be hindered, in my opinion. But
I don't know. I always go back to this like line of thought, and it sounds fucked up, but like, why does it matter? To people who don't care about combat to make it for them. You know what I mean? Like, why? they don't care. I mean, they're here for the story, right? That's what even Rich said. Most people come here for the story, and I'm just like, okay, that's fair, but why are you like why is the combat being catered to these people beyond like the basics?
Like next thing that's gonna happen, they're gonna do something with line attacks because like think for
Oh,
a second,
boy, yeah.
right?
God, yeah. Do you remember that PTS patch? That was
Yeah.
terrible.
If they do something like light attacks where it messes up, for example, with DPS parses, where like, okay, we're automatically going to make somebody light attack every 2 seconds, and you can only light attack every 2 seconds. But you know how much it's going to affect, like, you know, just your DPS parses in general, and damage wise. But that's also going to affect like PvP as well. Like weaving abilities, it gets you in a cadence, and weaving your light attacks, it gets you in a rhythm. And people that's played this game for that long and have a little bit of experience know that. And I can tell if I'm in a laggy situation just by my light attacks alone. And that's why you see a lot of people jump around, hit light attacks on the resto staff, because they're feeling the server lag and seeing what.
Yeah.
It's like putting your finger in the air and trying to figure out where the wind's blowing. It's just trying to figure out. It's a small thing, but there's things that exhaust touches that's gonna really mess some of the core things up that we've hold true near and dear to our hearts. Just jumping and light attacking it sounds trivial, but it's very important.
Yeah, it's the thing. I mean, like the game changes so much every year. It feels like
It didn't used to be this way though.
I feel it's been like this for a good few years. I feel like, yeah, maybe not between. I don't know. I mean,
like
as long as I've been
2016
playing,
was the most stable in terms of like, not changes, but or balancing, but like I don't know how to say it.
Well, like, yeah, ever since they did, ever since they've been doing their overhaul with all of the abilities and stuff, that's where, like, where it's been a consistent, you know, a year and a half of, okay, it's a yo-yo patch. We got something getting buffed here. We got some massive changes. Everything's getting upended, and then 3 months later, the same thing's happening. Before, that was happening once a year to an extent.
yeah,
Like
sure.
when mythics were added into the game, that's what changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
build
it's
wise in
definitely-
general.
It's made it more volatile. The meta, definitely, yeah.
Because it all it is right now is front bar, back bar, mythic, and monster with one piece trainee on every single PvP build. And it's just best in slot. Like you can run like a front bar set of burning spell weave with a back bar set of trickery, whatever.
Even a
And then-
Stamplar's running mythics. I'm trying to think. Sorry, it's not Stamplar. Stamblade, like a ganker.
I
Ganker
do.
run a mythic?
I do. I run Calrian's Clever and Balor, and it's the best Stamblade build you'll ever play. Trust me. It literally
With
removes
what mythic? What?
Majesty. You gotta stack the heals, stack weapon damage.
Which one was that?
Markin.
Is that one of the new ones?
Yeah, Markin.
Yeah, it gives you
Oh.
200
Majesty.
weapon and spell damage and like 2300 armor.
Right. Okay, yeah.
It's the best mythic except for like a DK. They use Malakath. But other than that,
Yeah.
You're gonna get more potential from healing with Majesty,
Yeah.
just for survivability.
True.
And the Calrians also gets buffed by that. You got, you know, Balor buffing your Calrians as well.
Yeah.
I kind of want to backtrack a little bit and then go
Okay.
through a different route and back to here, because
Okay.
I think we can talk about a lot about not just the balancing, but also about Zos, because I know that's a point of one of your points of interest as well, and I
Yeah.
kind of want to dig into your brain for that.
Okay.
Yeah, backtracking. So you mentioned your significant other, Pink, and how she's better than you. So does she? You also mentioned she helps you with content. Does she in any way like help with builds and guides and stuff like that?
Well, typically what it is just bouncing ideas off of her.
Okay.
Like I'm joking. She's a great player, but she's not OP like, you know. She's good, but not like a 1vxer type of thing. She's a healer focus. She's not like broken, if that makes any sense. I just gotta brag on her a little bit.
Well,
So
this is public, so
yeah, I know. I love her. She's amazing.
yeah.
But she helps me with the content, with like ideas from, you know, video ideas. Like I bounce ideas off of her with builds. You know, talk about this or talk about that. Like different sets I could use. It's mainly just somebody to bounce ideas off of is what she really helps with a lot.
That's pretty cool. And
Yeah, it's definitely nice.
Yeah.
It's nice having somebody that you can talk to every day that helps
hell
in
yeah.
that regard. That doesn't just doesn't just care about you just because you make content, they actually like you as a person, right?
And
So-
she's actually supportive of the work.
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm.
Kane was
And she
talking-
streams with me too. It's awesome. She
Oh.
streams with me as well.
Well, does she
me and her-
stream? Wait, does
No,
she just...
she just plays with me.
Oh,
while
okay.
on the
Hot
stream.
tub. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely a power couple here. Yeah, ESOU has a very interesting history of power couples. Yeah, for sure. There's actually quite a lot of couples who are either content creators or like pillars of the community, really.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
I could
It's
I
nice
can
to
name
see.
quite a few, and but yeah, it's pretty cool. And speaking of bouncing off ideas off of, and I know, sorry. And I know you don't want to talk about Great Link, neither do I, because I feel like that last podcast kind of talks for itself.
boy.
Sure. Yeah.
But what did you think? You know what I mean? Like what?
Well, I don't know what to think sometimes with people on the internet, dude. Like, I feel bad for the guy at times because it's just I never like he acts like he knows me like so well, like we're like best buddies, but I've never talked to this man before. He's commented on my post every now and then, but I've not engaged in any conversation with him, and he acts like he's Pink likes a joke and act like he acts like he's my boyfriend or something. Because he's like infatuated with me, and I don't even know why. I don't. And there's just people like that on the internet, I guess, that just have to be careful about. It's really opened my eyes up to kind of what I do and kind of what information I put out on the internet just because of this situation in itself.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like
Well-
content wise, or like just?
Well, not necessarily content wise, but people are weird.
Yeah,
and-
yes, they are.
Yes. Especially
Just-
on the internet. Yes.
It's just things that once people like, if they get an infatuation for you, they're gonna try to take it to any extreme possible, just because you called them out on something that they did, right? So I don't know. I just feel like he's in a bad place overall. I wish him the best, but some of his thought processes aren't very cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at that podcast because I just kind of want to review. And I don't know, man. There were some things that didn't match for me. I don't know about you, Ollie, but
I feel like every answer was like a parody of a wrong answer, of the answer you shouldn't give.
I guess I don't know. And then that, like, what's up with that whole doxing thing, man?
Well, I
Like-
had messaged him, and I sent you, the like what the whole conversation what entailed. But I mean, I just, to my better judgment, I probably shouldn't have messaged him because Pink had told me not to, but it was during a got copyright strike on my channel, and now it's kind of died down a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's a rather serious thing. It's
Yeah.
not just like
Yeah, it's big.
it's not just like, ooh, it's not like a little slap on the wrist. It's like something that's actually it's very important, because if you get 3 of those, your channel's gone. So it's
Mhm.
but so he just decided to release my full name. So yeah, I mean, that's just all there is about it, I guess.
There's like a story around that. Apparently, like he photoshopped it or something onto the screenshot. Or did he just? I don't know.
Well, he
what
just-
happened.
I mean, he has the email that I sent him from the email, and he could have photoshopped it. I don't know, but it was. I mean, you've seen the email of what it looked like, so that's what it looks like in Gmail. I don't know if he photoshopped it or not, but
Yeah. There's some wild stories surrounding that, I think. So I get confused.
it's all right.
But-
It's just. I don't even know.
I had a huge issue with that. Though. You know what I mean? I had a
Yeah,
really
'cause-
huge issue with that, and that's why I think he took it down during the podcast. I think, right? Yeah, he did. And then,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's fucked
It's
up.
hard to tell whether that was like a genuine. He didn't actually know that
I have no idea.
it was like that. But
I have no idea.
It's very hard to read sometimes.
But what was that? He also mentioned like you changed your email or something.
Change my email.
Yeah, so like your email appears on the about page of the YouTube section of the YouTube page, your YouTube channel. Sorry.
Yeah.
He said like, oh, he must have changed it because he was like arguing that your full name was in that email address.
Well, I mean, just because I have an email on there, like, I don't recall changing it recently, right? So
right, so he was lying.
Yeah,
basically. So he was trying to make the argument that his email address was his name, but
yeah,
does that make sense?
I don't. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I don't know, dude. This guy's delusional.
I mean, for me, it says realgodzilla@gmail.com. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But so I brought this up not because it's a rehash, but also because in one of his videos he brought up something about you and Zos, and I pursued that line a bit, and it turns out I watched the video where you reached out to Zos.
Correct.
Through Gina.
Correct.
So I want to talk more about this.
For sure.
Rather than Horcrux. What happened with that? Why? Well, I guess start from the beginning. Like, why you reach out? In regards to
I wanted to get some answers for the community, mainly for the PvP guys, because we've been, it's just been hopes and dreams and not any concrete details on what's happening. And when we do get concrete details, it's the same thing. Oh, we're working on performance, but it's not really anything. It's not really anything of substance. It's not like any action. Maybe they're doing something behind the scenes, but from my perspective, for going on a year at that point, a year and a half, we had heard really nothing about performance improvements, and they were supposed to get better at 2019, and then 2020, and then 2021. Now we're in 2022, and there's still issues that's not been addressed in years. So that's where that from the direction that was coming from. And I had reached out to Rich on his stream, and he told me to message Gina. I did so, and so I had been waiting on hearing something back, and I wanted to be transparent and wanted to let everybody know what was transpiring because I didn't want to be considered a gatekeeper. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to have the information available to everybody and let the community know what was happening. Now, I probably made a mistake in showing what Gina said at that time. Looking back, I wish I would have set up an interview or something like that before I showed DMs, but that's just, she hasn't gotten back to me since then. So I think maybe I made a mistake in that regard, but I think it was still worthwhile for the community to know what was happening, and kind of, we were starting something and then it just fell off, and I'm not sure what happened in that regard. Maybe at that time performance was so bad, and it was just one of those things where like performance just irritates you to such a high degree, where this game is great and it has so much potential, but the performance and just all these issues compounding, and it just makes you frustrated.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't care so much if it was a game we didn't like. Like,
right.
If you buy like a new game off Steam and go play it and it sucks, you don't start
Exactly.
writing to the devs. You just stop playing it.
Right.
You just refund it for after 2 hours and you're done.
I hate it when other ESO players accuse us of like, oh, if you hate the game so much, why are you even playing? You know what I mean? Like, it's so like, it annoys the hell out of me, man.
It takes a while to understand.
So reach through the monitor, just slap them, dude. Come on, like, wake up.
What irritates me the most is whenever PvE players like yourself say that PvPers complain about everything. And that could be true to an extent, but it's I think there's a different love for the game that we have for it versus what you guys have for it.
I don't know about that.
I think it just depends on the player.
Yeah, when you say
I guess it could.
I guess when you say PvE players, do you mean like maybe the non-in-game PvEers? Because like I think in-game PvE players kind of understand that there's nuance to all this, and
well, in the YouTube comment section.
Oh, wow. They don't matter.
No,
they don't matter.
So those
I'm gonna
people,
say it straight up, they don't matter, or at least the idiots don't matter, right?
YouTube comments are always
the supportive
wrong
people
and
matter.
Always right.
Yeah. Dude, those are like the dregs of, I don't know, ESO society.
But the thing is though, with PvP, that's where the community is on YouTube. It's not on Twitch to an extent. You know, there's a few people that stream on Twitch, but from the perspective of content wise, from like, is there no one else? You know, Sawman. You know, I know he plays on PC, and he streams on Twitch, but most of the community that covers patch notes, and at least from my perspective, on where I started out at, and what I view as the PvP community is mostly on YouTube, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know, this is gonna sound fucked up again, but that's the one thing I agreed with Horcrux on, like the like in regards to the PvP community, in regards to like how it's a lot of it is centered around cult of personality, or like specific channels more so than it is about a certain concept or certain platform. But we can talk more about that. But yeah, going back to the whole thing with Gina. So I guess you haven't reached out since then either.
I have, and she hasn't replied back to me. So it's been a while. Let's see here.
I know she's quite busy.
Yeah,
but also and it's fine.
Yeah, but also like
last time I messaged her was January the 5th.
Okay,
of this
so
year.
2 months ago, basically.
Yep. And
she's not going to reply.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would, I'd keep trying personally, but
yeah, you could maybe shoot another message if you wanted to.
But I guess also, is there even a need for this? I guess meeting to occur
not really anymore. Not really anymore.
Yeah, I mean their announcement. I kind of want to pick your brain on this as well, like the announcement in regards to restructuring their game architecture.
I think it's a great thing.
You're optimistic about it, because I mean they've said before that they're going to like fix it or reduce the lag, kind of. But
yeah, they've said that for years. So
but this is kind of different in a sense because it's more
you
fundamental.
Can have. Yeah.
Are you cutting out, Godzilla?
Yeah, I think he's cutting out.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I here?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
How's things?
Okay.
God, this is giving Zoom vibes. Honestly, Zoom vibes, man.
Can you hear me now? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. I was saying that I'll believe it when I see it. Server performance.
That's what every PvPer's been saying for the past however many years.
Yeah. So like I've told people in the streams, just go on about your day. If the lag is irritating you that bad, go play something else. That's seriously all you can do at this point.
Go do housing or something. Yeah.
Well, not even just housing, just play something else.
Fine.
But it's just hard because there's nothing that replaces ESO PvP right now. No game on the market does the PvP as well as ZOS does, even with all of the dumb changes they've done with cast times and whatnot. But that's just my 2 cents on it, I guess.
Yeah, okay, that's valid. I agree with you on that one. I think the combats, because everyone always says it, man. It's just such a tried phrase. Oh, I don't like this, but ESO combat's so good. Like that's always like the fallback option. You know what I mean?
I think it's just because the freedom of being able to have 2 bars, to not have cooldowns on abilities, to animation canceling to an extent, it's been nerfed over time. But
just having an MMO where you can aim a little bit, and it doesn't feel like you're just kind of
it actually feels it's active, so you have to like pay attention to what you're doing. You can't just click. You have to hit abilities. And there's a lot of button presses, so it's actually it's very active. So you feel like the more proficient you get at hitting buttons, the better you are, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is enjoyable about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. But yeah, in regards to the restructuring of the architecture, I think that's basically it in terms of the only plan. And they said they're gonna start this year. Meaning, I think, and this is my opinion, this isn't me like breaking NDA or whatever, right? I think, from my own speculation, this whole process is gonna take a minimum of 2 years, dude.
I think it'll be
And-
into 2023.
I think a minimum of 2 years, not next year even, like 2024.
Quite possibly.
The whole process just sounds really complicated. I've asked like
It does.
other people who are experienced with this kind of stuff that don't work at ZOS, and they're like, yeah, this is a bit more than what you think it is. So when I think about like not only the cadence of their content schedule, not only the other things that they have to do in the background, in regards to the game engine, I don't see it fixing PvP or doing something for PvP until like 2 years from now. So I don't know. It's hard because they also said they don't want to make any content for PvP, which is I don't really agree with to an extent. I understand where you're coming from, but
yeah,
no content, no fix for the next 2 years at least, from my perspective, and that's asking for a lot. I don't know if the PvP population will even like exist at that point.
Yeah, so that's what I've talked about, that exact point on in some videos. I don't remember which ones, and on my streams, is when performance gets here, there's not going to be anybody left to play it. So that's performance will improve because nobody will be playing PvP at that point.
I don't know. I feel like maybe after 6 months, people will be like, yeah, but look, you've already survived 6 months of it. You can survive another year and a half. And then, like after
then,
10 months,
what
they'll
if
be
it
like,
doesn't
you've
work
already.
out?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work out though? That's the
but
worst case scenario.
You can still, you can have that little like bait on the hook, trying to pull them in towards the supposed fix. I reckon that's what's going to keep PvP going.
Yeah, I really wish they would add like they said on their recent whatever announcements were, whatever it was, but they said that they were going to do events for PvP every few weeks, months, whatever. Like some maybe it's correlated with a holiday or something like that. I think that could add new life into PvP, just reward incentives. But just doing nothing for the next year, or maybe even your speculation 2 years, is very bad, because we've had Zerodead for a long time, and the only thing we've really had changed was we've added a few new outposts, a few bridges, and
mob gates, towns.
The town's not in it. Well, you could,
towns were not part of the base game for a while, in terms of like capturable towns.
Played this game for years. Over there next to the blue, where the blues and reds fight up top, the outpost. It's right next to Chalman.
Winters.
No. The south from that.
Oh, Bleakers.
Bleakers. They changed. You know that little structure from. So if you come out of Bleakers and you take a left and you go up that hill, you know that little
stairs. Yeah.
Yeah. So you. It's actually closer towards the gate. There's like a little. There's ruins there, and there's a little slip point that you can go through, that you can only jump through. Before the mid-year event was here, you could only jump through there if you had enough swift speed or on your horse, and you couldn't just walk through there. They have opened that up, and now it's a massive hole there where you can fit 5 or 6 mounts through it. So they've changed the map slightly. So that goes to show you that they're doing something. I don't know why they would change that. I think it was because that was a 1vxing spot, and people with no thumbs on console couldn't jump through there. So
Alessia Bridge changed a lot as well. Like you used to be able to jump over it, and you can't anymore.
Yeah,
you could like jump the gap.
There's things that I think if they readjusted Zerodead, I think if they maybe split the campaigns up, made it smaller population and less map size, I think that could help with some lag, and it would add more variety where you could go into this campaign or that campaign, and PvP. I think they should add a lot of things, like a video I did months ago. It was a message to ZeniMax, and it was several different ideas that they could do for content in Imperial City, Battlegrounds, like the PvP mode that we did, the content creators.
Yeah.
That was something that I had talked about in that video. Is just a structured 6v6 keep take or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's you queue into it. Sure, it's gonna maybe take a little bit of time, but I think people would actually enjoy that. Where it's more structured. Where it's not like like Zerodead. The reason why Zerodead is fun is because it's always expecting something different, but having more structure can alleviate some of those issues to an extent.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something new. That's really all I think PvPers want. Something new to do.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely reuse the assets and stuff that they've got to just new game modes.
I mean,
they wouldn't need to create new.
This is the problem here, though, right? Like, whether we're talking about the lack of incentives or rewards, like the lack of a reward structure for PvE or PvP, whether we're talking about PvP content or like other things, there's so many ideas that we can just bring up. If we just bring up one idea, it's a good idea because there's like nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Exactly. That's that.
If they added 2v2 duels, that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
2v2
maybe because we're mentioning it, they're like, oh damn, someone's already thought of it. We can't do it.
Dual-man arena or 2v2 or
no,
how about BGs where there's only 2 teams? It's like I can just pull an idea out of my mental hat and be like, okay, oh, that sounds good, man. That sounds really good. Put it on the forums for those fucking likes.
No, you can't tell them.
Insightfuls.
If you say it in public, then they won't copy it. You need to like whisper it to them and say, hey, you can use this idea.
I think they know how many ideas. I don't think there's. I mean, I know they're not stupid because I talk with them and they're not stupid. They're not stupid people at all. They're very smart. And
they just have different priorities than we do to an extent. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can
we
say this,
play the game and they sell the game. There's different priorities to that extent of what we want versus what they can do and want to do.
We're not.
I'm sure like
that money pie. Yeah.
I'm sure at like in all seriousness, I'm sure that they wish the performance was better. I'm sure that they wish that the game worked better than it does. But I will say that this game, with all of its issues, is still the best out there. Like, it's better than any other MMO. I just wish that it worked better, but I know that they do too, and that's just what's just frustrating about it.
Yeah. So basically, we need to buy more crown crates, get like more stocks and shares in the game.
I just don't think
push
that'll
our
help.
agenda.
No, I don't know.
Push our elitist agenda.
And also, something else I wanted to touch on is I thought the Microsoft takeover or buyout would have done something by now.
More. A lot of people mistakenly thought it was gonna like enact immediate change.
I think it was just Microsoft can get a few extra bucks in their pocket and just, hey, you guys are doing good.
I thought it would improve the server hardware and stuff.
Like, I thought they are. They are replacing the server hardware right now.
It's just going to take time.
They're in the process of doing so. They were supposed to finish last year or this past year, December, but the whole supply chain
ever had
issues.
An MMO before?
Microsoft?
I'm trying to think if they've had an MMO before.
I mean,
Flight Simulator.
Yeah, a lot of people think Microsoft. I mean, I think some people speculate. There's I think 2 immediate effects so far of Microsoft, in my opinion. The first effect is, what is it? What's it called? The Endeavors. Yeah, I think that's what people speculate Microsoft had an effect on because they don't really enjoy the whole gambling crate aspect. So I feel like maybe there was some pressure somewhere there in regards to implementing some sort of system where you don't have to gamble, but you can work your ass off for a year and get the rating effects, But and the second effect of Microsoft is, I think, more IRL, is more financial. It's very financially, I think, more complicated than people realize because Microsoft just bought you, right?
Yeah.
So what do you have to
so
do?
now you got to answer to them.
No, not just that. Financially speaking, you have to pay them back.
You pay them back, yeah.
Exactly. So
you got to make profit so they can have theirs, and then you can get yours.
Exactly. And I think that's really only 2.
Yeah, they got
effects.
Bethesda too, because ZeniMax owns Bethesda, right? And that's the
Correct.
people that made Skyrim.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's a pretty big buyout in itself. That Skyrim was was a great game.
Still is. It's still being released.
Yeah, the 10th,
Well-
the 10th release
well,
of the 10th.
10th
you know,
release.
like,
Oh man.
what is it?
Yeah.
They released
Well,
it
I played it on
everywhere.
PlayStation, so you really, I don't know if you can do the mods like you can on PC on PlayStation like that.
You
I don't know.
you can, but you have to like buy them now. Don't they have like
I don't know.
curated special?
Oh, you can buy mods on PlayStation now?
Yeah,
I have no
kind
idea.
I didn't know that. I've not played Skyrim in years, dude. Like it's been,
of.
oh man, that was when I was like
Yeah.
10 years old, like just with Cheetos and staying up to like 2 a.m. playing Skyrim, dude.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just released the 10th anniversary. Or was it the 11th anniversary?
I remember getting it on PC. I had this like crappy E-Machines laptop that my parents got me for my birthday, and I was like, I'm gonna play Skyrim on PC and do all these cheat codes and go God mode, did all that stuff, right? But it still wasn't as fun as just regular PlayStation, just vanilla Skyrim. I found that odd for me. I thought I would enjoy it more, but I mean the laptop was terrible. Don't get me wrong, but it was just that time when you're young and like think it's gonna be great, and
Yeah.
what you already had was already great. So like
Can
it's
you
kind
play
of
it
like
on mobile yet? Is it on mobile?
Skyrim?
Is it on like Apple Watch?
No. How can it be on Apple Watch?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can play
That
like
watch
Minecraft
would melt
this
on
shit.
your wrist
I'm
just
gonna
from the
Google
processing needed
Can I play Skyrim?
for Skyrim.
No.
But where were we? We're talking about right. So I guess there's no real need anymore for the meeting technically.
not really.
But-
I mean,
Sorry.
it
go on.
would be nice, but just to hear something. I think the main reason I think that it was going to be something of value was it would be the first time in years that a ZeniMax, employee person, spokesperson, actually sat down and talked with a PvP person, not just like, not just saying, hey, this is what we're doing, an actual conversation, kind of like we're having right now, right?
Hmm.
So it would be something of that degree. But I think also they think PvPers are out to get them, and at times,
I mean,
and
Yeah, I mean it's true. Like we've
So
got our little like Slack group with all our endgame PvE guilds or whatever. And is there? I guess there isn't really a PvP.
the council raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Council of
There's
Zergers.
class reps where two
Oh.
and 3 of us are PvPers. That's good, but
Sure.
that's under NDA. I can't,
Yeah.
I can't
Well, yeah,
tell
right,
you what
yeah.
happens,
True,
right, what they
yeah,
say,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
but
that's
yeah,
the thing. It was just an open conversation that I think that I was really going for at that time.
yeah,
Mm,
but
mhm.
And I think that
sorry.
from the community's perspective, I think it would have been a good idea, but maybe not from Zos's perspective, because what are they going to get the value from me talking to me when they could just announce it themselves and not have to even worry about me, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think maybe they're a bit shy as well because I mean they've admitted that Cyrodiil performance isn't what they want it to be,
Oh,
and I
they're
feel like
shy.
maybe they haven't got anything more to say about it.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
I think the history with PvPers is not good.
Yeah,
well.
but you can't really say
mean-
that that's. I know the PvPers, like, it's hard to say because a lot of it's just based on individuals too. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the whole cult of personality and where the
Because-
community is, right?
it's just, it's hard to really decipher because like you can't blame because you come into my streams, there is about. Okay, there's maybe one toxic person that comes in there and just acts like a moron and then gets banned. But in my streams, there's not a single toxic person in there, and everybody's helping each other out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The only toxic people you see are just a few people that have egos that play Magsork half the time on PlayStation.
Oh, we're about to do Maxork, okay.
Oh, shit.
But
It's
it's
fine.
just
I've got no
it's-
friends anyway. It's fine.
It's just it's just a few people, and I think all the content creators, like at least from my opinion, like content wise, like I'm not talking about just people, because I know you guys have been having some issues. I've heard about some things about with hate raids and stuff like that.
Shit.
And I don't know the details on that, but that's not everybody, and I know that PC may be a little bit different, but on console, man, it's tight knit. The PvP community is just wants to have a better, stable environment to play in, and play in a little sandbox, so to speak. But I know that there's people that act like morons on the internet. We could talk about this for
well, this
years.
is actually a very complex subject, in my opinion, that we can definitely talk about. Yeah, for sure.
But I've heard some stuff going on with the hate raids and stuff, and I've heard some things from some people, other things from other people. I don't know the full story. Some people say that they're getting misaccused of doing hate raids and stuff like that. I've personally not had any hate raids done to me.
Yeah, I'm just thankful I'm not famous enough to get hate raided. It's pretty good.
Well, I don't want to talk about that shit too much, because that's they want attention for it. But I can say that they're targeting anyone. They were targeting anyone. There was. I'm gonna say this because let me just fucking explain very clearly. But for example, one of the people that was hate raiding was like this, middle-aged lady, right?
Was it Gina?
No, just a random streamer.
Okay, fine.
In the ESOU directory, and she was celebrating her birthday on stream with one viewer, and then they just go in and fucking. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of fucked. But anyway,
that's the kind of. It's just individuals, though, man. Like
Well, we'll talk more about this, but let's go back a little bit to what is it? I was gonna say I was gonna say something about. God, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, what were
we were talking about? What were we talking about?
Performance.
People being jerks on the internet or something.
No.
Max Orcs. Gina and the ZeniMax with Bethesda, or was it?
Oh yeah, now I remember. So I think I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was JTK or is there no one else. I think built off on your idea, or rather you reaching out to them. And I heard whispers, rumors about an attempt to get like a group together. I don't know if it's specifically content creators, people who know what they're talking about when they talk about the combat balancing.
So it was JTK, and he was wanting to set up some type of PvP council. I think it was with a few creators. Let's see, I have the thing right here. It was gonna be, well, at least in the chat, it's animation canceling, pain in the axe, JT and me. That's the only people that are in it right now. I don't know if is there no one else was doing it or what, but that's just what this was in the chat right now. And maybe that's more behind the scenes or whatnot. I'm not sure, but it's worth a shot. But I don't know how much good it will do in the long term. I think it'll just make us pull our hair out more than anything, because like we're going to be talking about bugs and things that have been an issue for a while, and have to like document it and try to present it to ZeniMax and say, hey, can you fix this type of stuff. I think that's kind of what he was wanting it to be. JT.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of got that for like PvE, so it makes sense. You should have it for PvP as well. I mean, you just have to be careful you get the right people in there that are sort of level-headed and reasonable.
Which is
yeah. I mean, we've got a couple of people which are.
I mean, but still, they shouldn't.
True.
It was just something I think he was wanting to try. I don't know how much good it'll do. It was something he was wanting to do every few months, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea, personally.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
I'd back that.
I honestly, I wish that ZOS would be more approachable to things. I know that they're touchy with PvP because of people in general, but I wish that they would be more approachable to content creators. Like, I don't even have to be even recognized. I just would like to just have like an open source of communication, right? Just say, hey,
Yeah.
like, could I get an update on this? Or it's not even special treatment to an extent. It's just like, hey, this is an issue. It really needs to be fixed. There's a lot of people complaining about it.
Okay.
Just bring it to your attention, that sort of thing. I wish that would be something that can maybe be valuable. It would be valuable to my community, I think, and PvPers in general.
Isn't that Nefes's job as a class rep?
What, forwarding feedback and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
It doesn't even have to be me. Like, that's the thing is, I don't want the recognition. I just play the game just like everybody else. I just want the game to work just like I'm just a regular player. I'm nothing special. So it doesn't even have to be me.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just make videos and put my opinions on the internet. It's not that much different than a regular person, right?
Dude,
so
people, dude,
that's what,
yeah. That's what.
It's just a weird dynamic too. Like I said, with making content in general, is people think just because you get some like a few thousand followers, you're like now a celebrity. It's really weird.
Yes, yeah, I can definitely sympathize with you on that. If you want to talk after a podcast about more about that, yeah, I can share my experiences too. But it's like it was really weird. People treat you really differently.
Yeah, it's definitely different.
It's like, I don't know. There's like a sinister kind of tone to a lot of it too. Like it feels like
really?
It feels like a lot of time people put you on the pedestal just so they can take you down. You know what I mean? Like they'll put you on the pedestal and be like, oh man, look at this guy, dude. He's talking, you know, some sense. But then if you talk about something they don't like, they'll just, you know what I mean? They'll just knock you down from the pedestal.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, how dare you say that? You have such an impact. You have such a, you know, like you have an effect with your words. You know, words matter, and you know, your ideas matter. I'm just like, dude,
I'm just a regular person, just like you.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't know.
I can say things. I can say things I want to sometimes.
Like, who cares?
Sometimes I probably should keep my mouth shut, but yeah,
you know,
it's
like,
just putting my opinions on the internet.
It's just an opinion, and it's fine. But yeah. I don't like it when people post misleading advice, like.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like Winter's Respite's a good set. don't be coming over here saying that. Fucking slap you down. It's terrible.
But yeah, I can definitely see because there also, like you said, there's a dynamic to, because you're not at that point. You're not playing ESO just for ESO. Because it's actually
somewhat of
a different game to an extent.
Yeah,
because,
it is.
Yeah, right.
Because you're not just doing it just to play anymore. You're doing it to also play, but also provide insights and help people along the way and make their journey easier than yours was.
Yeah. It also makes
make the community a better place. Like, you know,
that's debatable. You know, like
I wouldn't even say the community. I would say the people that just like you for you make that a better place, because you're not gonna make the community better.
I fucking hate it when these, you know, these toxic casuals always like, oh, you know, you have to do it for the community. You know, think about the community. You know, like I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Are you in my streams every day? No. So your opinion doesn't matter.
They just have this idea. They just have this really weird idea about like this concept as this amorphous concept of community. I don't know. Like it's kind of like a
there is some kind of like entitlement sort of thing. Yeah.
When I talk about community, I'm just talking about the people that really just, you know, follow me in general, because that's the only people I can impact, right? I mean, I can't impact people that don't follow me, right? I can't impact the normal quester and Deshaun, right? They're not watching my stuff, so.
Well, people use it as an excuse, basically, to attack you. You'll see later. I think the more people that go to your channel, the more people that mention you on the forums or whatever, you'll see people start talking about you in a way where they may judge you as not being good for the community, or what kind of weird sense of community.
What I think is funny though is whenever you say, hey, this set works for me, and this set's great, and this setup's amazing, and then somebody's like, oh, this one's better, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's just like, it's just like, okay, that works for you, but this works for me. So
it's kind of the opposite in PvE, where if I make a build or someone else makes a build, and we say, okay, this is, you know, optimal, right? Or as optimal as you can get, people see that, this recommendation, this set of recommendations. Oh, here's what race you could be, blah blah blah, and then they look at that and they're like, no, the meta is evil, and then dude, there was that series of Twitter threads, right? I think last week, probably. I don't know if you catch that shit, but people were like,
I didn't see it now,
dude.
I try to stay off Twitter as much as I can.
I've
I've only recently made a Twitter, but I don't even know if I want to delve into it or not.
I think you should, in terms of like content creation space, but you shouldn't when you're interacting with people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. It's like going to the forums, right?
Stuff.
Like you'll find golden nuggets in the forums or ESO Reddit even, but like everything else is like trash, basically. To an extent,
like streamer Twitter's nice.
Yeah, streamer Twitter kind of is nice, except the general space.
Yeah,
the general space is also idiotic.
Don't chat with anyone with less than 100 followers.
Yeah, they talk about the stupidest shit too in that space. I'm not talking about the ESO streamers. I'm talking about like just streamers in general. Oh. Yeah, like
right.
Sure. Like, if you use somebody else's emote in my channel chat, you're self-promoting or you're promoting them over. Yeah, this is stupid shit.
Oh, but fuck that! I use mine everywhere. I don't care.
Yeah, but anyway, we kind of went on a tangent there, but I guess not really, because this kind of gives us a nice segue into what we really touched on, and I think I have a sense also what you're frustrated with as well, and that's community, because we've been talking a lot about community, PvP community, and like the problem to me, because this is very involved with other aspects of the game, like the game not working, the performance, also people feeling very dispirited, or they're not very motivated to do much else besides, just the usual shit, or maybe, I don't know, that also kind of turns into forms of degeneracy, and I think people just don't give a shit anymore, and I think most of the good ones left, and the ones who are remaining, most of them are...
I didn't hear what you said.
What'd you say?
I just came back. It disconnected. My internet's acting like a dummy.
Okay. I don't know where to start this one.
You said
rewind.
I heard it was like right after you were talking about Twitter, and then I came back and you said
degenerates. God. Okay.
So that's
I said this gives us a nice segue into the topic of community, because we've been bringing it up.
Okay. Sorry.
Like the PvP community specifically, which the concept of which I have a huge issue with. Because I don't know what you guys mean by PvP community, but I think I know after you've been explaining your stance on it. It's basically your community, like a sphere, your own sphere.
Yeah, it's just the people that that's all I can really help, right? I mean, the average PvPer, sure they know about me, but they may not watch all my stuff, right?
Okay. But what is community? In this sense of PvP community, to me, what does that mean?
It's mainly it's the people that watch me, Sawman. It's mainly just a bunch of people that watch several people, right? That's the way I see community, is people that watch my stuff. Is there no one else? And it's just like you see the same people. It's just think of it like a big school. Okay, you don't talk to everybody every single day.
Okay.
You notice them, yeah.
But you notice them and you see them, and PvPers, people that I know by name, that play that I've known for years, that sort of thing. Now the people that I don't know about, I can't really speak for those people if they're in my community or not, so to speak. But there's different dynamics to it, like my following and stuff like that versus the betterment of the game in general. I think that's also what I mean by community, is the betterment of the game, more or less, because
I think that's where our views diverge. Whereas you see it as the betterment of the game, I feel like PvPers, even content creators, should focus on the betterment of population in terms of like behavior and shit. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by what do you mean by teabag, toxic that stuff? Or
we can talk about teabagging, but I think that's ridiculous shit. I don't think teabag is toxic or should be reportable.
No.
But like,
no. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying by that. Is
behavior? Well, okay, or actually not behavior itself, but perception of the behavior or perception of the demographic. Like how, like you said so yourself, like, oh, you know, people think PvPers are toxic or whatever, right? In
Yes.
general, like, and that's obviously like a hugely flawed.
But that's
not even like.
But it's not just an ESO though. Every game has that. Every game that has a PvP and PvE dynamic, they always say PvPers are toxic.
But it's
go to any game.
Right, but it's particularly stronger in ESO, in my opinion, from what I've seen and from what I've talked to people about. I think, for sure. For sure.
I've not really played any other games. The only games I enjoy is PvP. So maybe my concept is flawed in that direction. I think people that mainly do PvE and that don't like competition think that inherently PvP is bad because it's competitive, and because that brings out the best and the worst in people. And sometimes people can be sore losers. Sometimes people can be, you know, a haha nan and a boo boo I beat you type of thing. So I think that's the dynamic of people that focus on the PvE stuff that they see, because the competition, they try to avoid it.
Well, you're talking to two PvEers right now. Weird. Well, Ollie's not competitive. I'm competitive. There's competitive, you know, there's score pushing and everything.
Well, for sure.
You know, I mean,
but I'm not talking about you. People
I know, but like,
but people that don't like competition.
I don't think it's a matter of competition. I think it's a matter of social function. Like, in PvE, like, there's a lot more easier ways, and this isn't even like the PvPer's fault. There's a lot more easier ways to kind of streamline your social experience, whether it's through joining a guild, a trade guild, and, you know, participating in guild chat, or maybe, you know, in Discord. Like going to events where no one's killing each other. You know what I mean? The very nature of it is streamlined for PvE more so than it is for like a more PvP social experience. And you'll find similar stories.
There's PvP guilds.
Oh, okay, right.
Right. But I think there's also the dynamic of, for example, think about it like this. Like, so in PvE, you are incentivized to play with other people, right? So you have to group up for a raid. You have to get 12 people. You have to talk to people. In PvP, from what I do, it's Xing. It's me versus the world, me and Pink versus the world, me and my small group versus 10, 20 people. So the dynamic in that regard, in the PvP that I play in the game I enjoy, is different from the game you do and you enjoy. There's if I was a Zerg leader and I was doing, you know, streaming and stuff like that, right? So that then I would have the similarities of being a PvE player doing raids and stuff, because it's very similar. You group up with people, you got to talk to people with builds. Hey, you need to run this set so we can optimize this way, and that sort of thing. But the thing is there's nobody that makes content, at least that I know of, that does that the Zerging aspect, or the larger group PvP, that does a lot of YouTube, other than Deltia, and he doesn't really Zerg. He started off as an Xer anyways. He's maybe done some stuff for his, you know, community and his viewer base, you know, like, Zerging it up a little bit. But there's Discords, you know, I have a Discord, we talk about builds and stuff all the time. And people that, you know, want to 1vx and do all that stuff. I wouldn't say that. I think it's just a different version of the game that you play and the different version of the game that we play. Like mainly Xers. I would say that's the dynamic. Is we're more incentivized. It's how we play the game, and how we choose to play the game, I should say, because we're always playing at a disadvantage whenever we're going against multiple people.
Right.
And also, there's also other things of I just like to play with Pink, so. It's not that I don't want to play with other people. You know, I've played with people in the past. Like, I have several friends. So, you know, it's not like I play solo or just me and her all the time.
It's not like you play Maxwell.
Yeah, right. But it's just how I prefer to play the game, and I think that attracts people that play the same way like you.
Yeah.
I think that's also what it is.
But I was more so referring to. I think ultimately I'm referring to the perception of the player base, or the PvP player base.
So you're meaning like just the average Joe person that just queues up in the Cyrodiil?
Yeah.
Well,
and also, like, I mean, even amongst some, like, it's very nuanced, and
for sure. But the
right.
average person that queues into PvP, that goes into, you know, types in LFG and chat, sometimes the interactions with those people can be good, sometimes they can be bad. And these people, like, you know, it's PvP, so it's competitive. People have short tempers, performance is bad. You have to keep that in the back of your mind as well. But some of these people, like I said, the reason why I preferred to play more of a just smaller scale is because I've met some weird people on ESO, and I just preferred just to play with, the people I know of, and also people, you may understand this, you probably will, have a following, and people would like to try to get buddy with you, and I just want to avoid that issue entirely.
Right.
So the people that knew me before I had a YouTube channel are the real OGs, but people that knew me afterwards, that's perfectly fine as well. But it's just a different dynamic that I want to avoid entirely. But like the average Joe person in itself, there's guilds, there's people that prefer that type of PvP. But there's no way I can influence if they don't want a 1vx. Like if for example, if I'm an average Joe person in PvE, if I don't want to do trials, I don't have to, right? If I just want to do 4-man dungeons, I'll find a guild that does 4-man dungeons. If I want to find a guild that's for 1vxing, I'm going to find a guild that's for 1vxing. If I want to find a guild for zerging, I'm going to find a guild for zerging. I think that's, maybe it's not the most relative information, but that's just kind of how it is, and people find their own social structure and people who they like to play with.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Am I answering your question kind of, or am I still off on it? I may not understand it all the way then, if that's...
I'm more talking about the perception of, even outside of the game, where you guys are viewed as toxic or whatever. And of course, there's gonna always be toxic people. It doesn't matter what community we're talking about. Like, I'm on your side here with this, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you're talking about role players or whatever. There are always gonna be toxic people, right?
Yeah.
But I feel, to me, like as an outsider, to an outsider perspective, it doesn't, I mean, because again, this is like layered with the fact that people have left the game, content creators have and continue to leave the game that are PvPers. People just don't care anymore. You know what I mean? There's some PvPers I know that would have been like, oh, I'm never wearing that set, but now they're kind of like, oh, well, whatever. Oh, I would never exploit, but whatever. So that, I think all this has kind of cascaded to this point where most PvPers just don't give a shit anymore, and that extends to how other players perceive them, right?
Well, that's all. A lot of that is just based on people's actions that you hear. It's just it's like normal
fraction.
gossip. Yeah.
Well, right, but then when that minor fraction is sometimes like what I'm saying is, and other people, rather like other content creators that are more PvE based, when they see that, and then they're looking for like some sort of response from the bigger portion, like what are you guys gonna do about it? And then of course, you have some PvPers say, well, why do you expect me to like babysit them, or like expect me to be held responsible for their actions? And I get that, but at the same time, there's no platform. There's like no public platform from which you can say, yeah, we condemn this action, or like they're not good people. It's kind of all scattered, and this goes back to what the communities are, your perception of communities in terms of content creation spaces, more so than it is about more communal space. That's what I'm saying.
So I kind of get it a little bit better now. So what you're saying is actions, the actions of like a few are tainting the whole picture of the community in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And but to that contrary, like you said, is I can't control what somebody else does. If somebody else wants to be a dickhead, I can't stop them.
Yeah.
So I think the best, there's really no best way to go about it other than to say, hey, this person's a bad person. But if I go out and say, hey, Ness he's the worst PvPer, he's a toxic guy, right? If I go out and say that and just like don't follow him, that's just going to cause me more heartache to do that, and I'm going to have to babysit that aspect. And I would rather more focus on my content. If somebody's a bad person, it's going to show through their actions and how they are,
right?
And there's nothing I can do about that, because if I don't associate with them and I don't talk to them and I don't even know them or even know what they're doing is anything, because that's also another thing is like, I didn't even hear about this hate raid stuff if I wasn't in a group chat with me and Sawman and Is There No One Else and all those guys, I would have never heard about this stuff.
Right, because you guys don't. See, that's my point though. There's no PvP collective. There's no community in the sense of.
There is though. It's just
amongst the content creators. What about everybody else? Like, is there an accessible platform for where you can go to for help besides the content creators?
What do you mean?
Because it's limited in terms of reach.
Well, what do you mean by like? Well, I'm trying to understand. Like,
look at this server we're in right now. Right, it's mostly PvEers. People come here for help and shit, right? Or like to share information. I don't.
So you're saying so what you're saying is like there needs to be like an like instead of like an individual Discord server, like hey, like my Discord server or Sawman's Discord server, and there needs to be like a PvP Discord server, sort of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it'd be helpful.
Don't
we have a PvP section on here somewhere?
Yeah, but
is there none in it?
Yeah, of course there's people in it, but it's like, it's not exactly. Yeah, I don't.
And I can see that too. I can see that to an extent, but I mean, that's already pretty much doing the same job though, because PvP is small. You got to keep that in mind as well.
Then it's easier to organize, I think.
But it's already kind of being done that way with my Discord. Is There No One Else's Discord? There's several Discords that, nice gaming's Discord. I know it's a little, it's more fractured, but it's still, everybody still interacts the same way you're talking about, but it's just in a smaller form. And it's not even necessarily just because they're in my Discord or somebody else's Discord. We're all in the same Discords together.
Yeah, I know.
So it's, I could see the potential of making a big, large Discord, but serving the function of what we're using right now, though, it seems to be fine. I don't see how making a community Discord like with, all the top, ESOU PvP type thing would really do much other than
Other than what?
Like I think you get people arguing. I reckon there's too many.
That's fine. People argue, but like again, like you said, it's fractured, and when you guys voice your concerns, and again, this is from I'm not saying this as a PvPer or even like a PvEer. I'm just saying this from an outsider perspective. When you guys voice your concerns in videos or whatever, like you guys are saying the same thing, but it's not like it's like
loads of little voices.
Yeah,
everywhere. It'd be better if you were one big voice.
Like
I get what you're saying.
I bet like if you had asked, Gina or whoever from ZOS from a more stronger position, where they know that you are, they know for a fact that you are representing a lot more people than your channel or whatever. Then yeah, I think probably maybe I'm not saying it would have been, but maybe the response would have been different. I don't know. It's just very scattered to me, and I'm sure I've had this conversation with other PvPer friends like Annie, Muskrat, but they disagree with me. But I'm just like, well, you guys never tried this, and they're like, oh, one of them was like, oh, we tried it, and I'm like, well, okay, the PvP discords that have tried this, they just devolve. I've been.
Well, I think also a lot of what it is PvPers are, how do I go about this? Like the PvPers are more reclused.
Yes.
And I don't want to have to like, I don't know how the best way to describe it. Like I don't want to have to like monitor a Discord, like a big whole server. I would rather just monitor mine and be responsible for my things. I don't want to be responsible for like if Timmy says this, and then now I have to denounce what Timmy said just because he's in my thing. Like if somebody says something wrong that I know of, I'll just disassociate with him, sort of thing. Like I don't want to have to like I said, like PvPers are recluse, so we're less social to that extent. I would say mostly, but we talk to our friends and our people that we know. But it's less of a. I would definitely agree. PvP is more or less of. It's more hush hush to that extent, but I think that from what I've done with just absolutely releasing anything that does the best and does it the most effective, I've at least had some impact on maybe just helping newer players getting to PvP much easier. Because I don't even like you said, you commented earlier and said that people that didn't want to run one set are now running different sets, like the most broken sets in the game. And that's to a degree because why not? We've played so long, like as one of the Xers or whatever, and have basically gimped ourselves for years of playing, the honorable way. And now we just get zerged down constantly. So I'm just going to run the best thing I can run to fight people. So, and people can call me toxic for running cowrings if they want to, but if it melts a hairline, it melts a hairline. So it does its purpose.
Yeah.
I think I think the dynamic also stems from just loss of hope of performance improvements.
Right.
I think that's where a lot of that comes from is, hey, if the game's not going to get any better, then I'm just going to play what I can to its fullest extent and make the most broken builds and have fun.
Right.
And I think that's earlier.
Makes sense. I mean, if it's there, you might as well use it, right? So
yeah, I just don't know. I would love to have the thought of having a PvP Cinder Discord, and we may give that a try, like a full group Discord. But I just don't know what that would do to solve the issues of changing the PvEers' minds that, hey, PvP is not toxic.
Because you're giving... Okay, so there's two main things. I've talked to Delty about this as well. There's two main things that PvEers say to me about PvP. When I ask them, hey, well, how come you know PvP? There's two things. First thing, I don't know where to start. That sounds stupid, in terms of like, oh, well, there's a bunch of YouTube builds and guides out there. But it's the same case for PvP. PvP will say, I don't know where to start. Right? Yeah. So there needs... I think people learn in different ways, right?
For sure.
And people always are seeking venues, whether it's a written guide, a video guide, an audio guide, or some sort of, some interaction on some level, whether it's through the YouTube comments or through the Discord server. That's the first thing people say. I don't know where to start. So in that regard, yeah, that can present an avenue to which people can go to and start and realize. But also when you're interacting with somebody real time, or not real time, but instant messaging wise, you start like understanding that these people are like human, more and more, right? You just don't like look at real Godzilla on YouTube and be like, okay, he's just a content creator, he doesn't have feelings, right? But then when you start talking to these people, when they start advising you and shit, you realize, oh, it's not that bad. Right?
I could see that.
And the second thing is PvPers are toxic. Right? So these are the two main things that people always tell me. I'm not joking. I'm not making this shit up.
Yeah, I understand. But how... I don't see how making a Discord server like that is going to change people's minds. Sure, it's going to...
You're providing an avenue. You're providing a platform at which they can access easily. And then realize these people are not bad.
But they can do the same thing if they were to join any of the other servers.
No, because that's more limited in scope. Because you're joining Solomon's Discord, right? And then you're like, oh, Solomon's not a good guy. Or, sorry, not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's... right? But then you don't realize that about the other ones. You don't.
I wouldn't say that. Because, I mean, okay...
That's just how people's brains work, dude.
I don't know the avenue. Like, okay, so if I made... But it's still going to be like the ESOU Discord is still your Discord, right?
No, I don't consider it my Discord.
Yeah, not anymore, really.
It's not my Discord. I have a separate Discord.
Okay. So you're talking about making a platform. I'm trying to... I just don't see how, from my perspective, how that's going to change people's minds. Because, like you say, even they don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if they're going to... So they have to... So if I have to advertise it, right? So like you say, so if I advertise it, then they're still gonna have to follow me, right? They're gonna have to know about my channel and my videos in order to find that. Mm-hmm. And sure, you could advertise it on Solomon's, whatever, and try to get a wider scope. But it's gonna be the same people in my Discord. Like that's also the thing I don't. Well, you may not understand is like
the focus is on new players, right? Ultimately, it is.
Well, yeah, but they still have to research. Like, if they don't know where to start, if they look up a build guide and look up my build or something, okay, and then they join my Discord server, the same things that you're talking about are already happening in that Discord. People ask advice all the time in my Discord. And there's somebody in there, whether it's me or admin or just any random person in there just helping out. They're already doing that. And sure, it's my Discord, but PvP is so small as is that I personally don't see the value in trying to start up a huge Discord like that, because the
It
same
doesn't have
people
to
are
be
still.
huge though. It just needs to be centralized.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to convince people that PvPers aren't toxic, because I mean, by the very nature of PvP,
Well, we have the same
PvPers
problem with PvEers, right?
Well, yeah, the PvPers, they get off on the whole aim is to kill other players, right?
Yeah, that's fine. But you're having fun doing it. You can do it in a social way. We know this.
Yeah, but like killing other players feels more toxic than killing like.
But we're doing it with
random
other people.
monsters.
I don't know. That whole thing, I don't. Whatever. Like, who cares, right? But
That's your perspective. What about the other people's perspectives that you're talking
I'm gonna
about?
tell you, because I'm just gonna say this, because this whole thing with the Discord here, everybody thought raiders were toxic, straight up until about 3-4 years, like 3.5 years ago. Nobody wanted to. Nobody wanted to associate with raiding. Nobody wants to associate with trials.
I still hear raids are toxic.
Yeah, that's fine. You won't convince everybody. That's okay. Who cares? But what the ultimate goal? Like my point with this little story is, I was toxic. Everybody was toxic, and then we just kind of realized, no, it's like legit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
We
gonna
had a
fucking hide
shouting
it.
match in that TRE, and then
Right, and then it's like, and then I think all of us, or most of us who stayed, behind with ESO, not behind, but with ESO, we realized like, hey, if we want more attention to trials, if we want more, people to raid with us, if we want a voice where, we can't act like this anymore. We gotta show people in whatever way possible, hey, we're willing to teach you. There's no paywall. There's no need to, go to specific channels. Really, you can just come here, ask a general question. If you want to pursue a specific line of questioning, or we've set up this channel where you can open up your private ticket and ask whatever in private. No need to be judged. I don't know. We set up so many ways for people to not view us as toxic, to the point where there's a lot more people raiding now. There's a lot more people doing trials now. There's a lot more people engaging with us on Twitch now. 2 years ago, you wouldn't even see more than me and J-Dub streaming trials. Now you got more people streaming trials on Twitch. Why is that? Because the perception has changed. And I think the same can be done for PvP. But PvPers, all the PvPers I talk to is like, they don't want to try. Or they think it's futile. Or they think, PvPers won't, fucking get over beef. And I'm just like, well, okay, I don't really care, because I don't have a stake in this, right?
I think, but PvP in general is like I said, is more recluse. So
change that then. Why can't you change that?
It's individualized to that extent.
I mean, so was raiding to an extent. It was all localized to specific teams or groups. Not like before Discord or before whatever. We never knew or talked to each other. Like, you wouldn't see PCEU players talk to PCNA players. You wouldn't see even people in the same server platform talk to each other. Like, we didn't even know. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. Like, we were reclusive. We were very isolated. But then it came to a point where
it's worth a shot.
I don't know.
Possibly. It's just hard to say, because from my perspective, like I said, is it this, like what you're talking about is already being done in my Discord?
I know.
Or but now, if it doesn't have my name on it, how is that going to change their perspective? That's the one thing that I don't.
Because that's how people's raids work. You know what I mean?
So their perspective is going to change that PvPers aren't toxic just because I make a Discord with a bunch of other people that help newer players. That's already being done in my Discord. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand how their perception is going to change just
maybe
because
they don't like you. Right? Why would they join your Discord? Or maybe they don't like the idea of you, right? I mean,
but how am I going to change their mind though if they don't like me?
But you're still there to help people. Like, they're fucking fool if they think you're a piece of shit. But you're helping. There's like evidence of you helping people. It's really hard to argue with that. And there's a reason why this Discord's grown to the extent it has, because we help people. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I think it being a collaborative effort makes it less intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, people.
So, like, instead of joining like mine, or is there no one else's Discord? Well, whoever else is, it'll be joining a PvP Discord.
Sure. Yeah.
ESO PvP Discord.
I think that's less intimidating, more accessible. So.
Yeah, without the the Because there's a history of PvP Discords trying this, kind of. But then what happens is, like I said earlier, it just kind of devolves into where there's people just spewing of drama.
I think,
spamming the N
yeah.
word. It's just like it does nothing, and people want to moderate it or try moderating, and then I don't know what. Of course, people have tried moderating that kind of stuff, but then it just kind of comes to the point where this is tied in with the game's performance. They don't want to try it anymore. So why should they try on this one, on this platform as well, right?
Yeah,
it just
I
kind of
think
evolves.
But it also, like you said, if somebody's just spamming the N word or doing some dumb stuff in a Discord and they've tried it, but that's just individuals, and that's still the same individuals that act like dummies in the game.
You can ban them.
Sure, but
yeah, that's it.
But how is that still going to change their perception if PvPers are toxic?
Because if I join that Discord as a newer player or as a PvPer trying to get into PvP, and I don't see that behavior anywhere, then it's like, why should I think that? And then the more I start learning from people, why would I bite the hand that feeds me? That's not the typical response of most people. Even MMO players, the fucking weirdest fucking bunch of right.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I'll definitely think about it, and I'll get in contact with a few.
I mean, I think it's worth a shot, but I don't think it's been fully tried before. I mean, it's tried to an extent, but again, people, I think in the past in some of these Discords, the larger ones that are for PvP or data crafting for PvP, it just kind of dies out. There's no effort really. There's like people just like kind of go with it too. And with the whole recent hate raids, for a fact, there have been people who just kind of like laugh or get entertained by it and just kind of let that shit slide because who cares? Because that boils down to who cares? Who cares? Game's dying, PvP's dead. Or
I wouldn't say that. Like,
I'm not saying that you guys do it. I'm not saying the content creation space for PvP. I think is fine. I think it's unbelievably wholesome to a degree, But like everything outside of that space, outside of these little bubbles of space, it's kind of like to me as an outsider, it's just there's no community in that sense of like, well, what you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
I get what you're saying, but it's just it's hard to clean up an image that you didn't do anything to taint yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
well, but I'm speaking to you as a person who did taint that image for, you know what I mean? For PvE, for endgame PvEers.
Yeah.
We had the exact same issue, to an extent even worse, because we were doing it, right? Actively.
You were doing it. Yeah.
Okay, calm down. But then, everybody realized, fuck, let's just try it. Just try it, and then see what happens. No? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
It's going to require...
require a lot of work to do it and set up the proper channels and trying to figure all that out. Because I got help with setting up my first Discord, and I just really left it alone. So I don't know the ins and outs of Discord.
It's not going to be easy because this is going to require a shift in thinking from both PvPers and also shift in thinking from the people who want to try PvP.
So help me understand this. So how is me and try to answer this maybe in a different way or something, because I'm still not understanding it.
You cut out.
Oh shit.
Hello? I think disconnected.
For example, do the hate raids or whatever.
You cut out. You cut out. Can you start over? You cut out.
Okay. So how is me making a community Discord with other creators and stuff going to impact the average PvEer's view of the PvP community if there's still these people that act like twats on the internet, doing hate raids, whatever these people are doing. Like I said, I don't know the full story. Maybe you could explain that a little bit more from your perspective.
I will after the podcast because
okay.
We're like but
I just how is that going to change the average person's perception of the community as a whole if they already think that way, but if they don't go out and look at my channel or look at any other good content creators' channel, or even how are they going to get that avenue to say, hey, PvPers aren't toxic if they already think we are in the first place?
I think the fact that if you're working together with other PvPers, then they're going to think like, oh, these guys, they're they're happy to work with each other even though they've got different viewpoints. Whereas at the moment, if it's like, you know, loads of individual channels, they might think, oh, there's like 100 different ways to do PvP. They don't all agree with each other. They're all separate. You know, which one do I follow? Whereas if you have like one hub, maybe it feels more accessible.
But I think maybe from a PvEer's perspective, maybe that's the case. But from the PvPer's perspective, it's not at all. Like I watch Solman's videos. I watch.
Yeah, but people don't know that. This all comes down to perception. Perception. It's all perception. This isn't fact. I'm not. When I'm saying like people think you're toxic or whatever, I'm not saying that's fact because that's silly. That's completely flawed. That's stupid.
We know that's not
no
true,
nuance at all. Like this is dumb, right? But it's all perception. And two things in regards to what you asked about this, like, okay, how does this change the perspective of somebody who already thinks you're toxic? I mean, it can go two ways. One, it doesn't. Who cares? It's not really. I mean, ultimately, it's not really about those kinds of people who will never change their minds. Heavens know, I have a lot of people who have a snapshot, like of me in their minds, from maybe a clip, or maybe something I did, or maybe something I said. You will never change that kind of people.
No,
but,
you never will.
Whatever. But the second type of people, you need, like, it's ultimately like people who can change their minds, or people who are getting into the game, because that's where it is. You need like fresh meat, basically, right? And going back to the whole perception thing, when you're talking about, it just looks good. It just really looks good. Like,
so you're talking about like a unified group. That's what you're really talking about.
A community. Like it just looks. People's brains. People in general are very tribal. So when you see multiple different people coming together, of different backgrounds, building a community, that looks good. It just looks good. I don't know how else to explain that, but also like. Again, when they go into that Discord or whatever, I don't know what form it'll take. They'll see, maybe like they won't see that behavior that they experience with in zone chat, or they don't, you know, like, or on the forums or on other Discord servers. They won't see that, and if they don't see that, then they won't associate that server and the people as a result, consequently in it, with that behavior. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like here, if people come here thinking that, you know, we're all pieces of shits for playing meta, right? And they start talking to us, and then realize, oh, these guys, you know, are actually not evil bastards. You know, they'll start associating perhaps the people who insist on, oh, you gotta play this way, away from us rather than with us, right? And that's happened quite a bit, and that's why this place continues to grow, because people realize, you know, it's not black and white. It's just not black and white.
Mm-hmm. I think it's worth a shot. Like, I reckon it would be healthy for the PvP community.
Could be.
And in terms of the voice, because this is huge, and this is what I'm gonna do for PvE this summer.
Yeah.
The more people you get into PvP, somehow, obviously, maybe the retention rate is abysmal, right, compared to maybe PvE, right? But I would argue that even endgame PvE's retention rate is a little bit abysmal. Perhaps not as bad as PvP, but if you could get more people into PvP somehow, you'll get more people voicing concern for PvP, and ultimately, it is a business. The more, if you can change, if you can alter the demographic just a little bit, and this is my theory, and this is what I'm going to test this summer, you know, there will be more attention to that kind of content I think on the business end of things, not necessarily the dev end of things, but the business side of things, which ultimately does affect the dev end of things, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So
you're just gonna like shout nerf Rockgrove and see
because there's a
happens.
reason why they're focusing so much on the questers. There's a reason why they're focusing so much on the solo play aspects of ESO, right? Why? Because they're the majority.
Fucking moaning on the forums all day.
But what
it's the majority, but also it's the easiest to do. It's easier to write a story than it is to fix the hardcore aspects of the game. It's easier to do a quest log and to focus on art rather than to fix the performance of a game. That's the backbone of the game, and if that is flawed in any way, it ripples effects into everything else. So people that just quest can focus on that, and sure, the game works enough for questing, and killing bosses and delves and whatnot, but the game doesn't work to the extent that it needs to in really hardcore PvP situations.
Yeah, I think that could be true.
And that's why I said this is a very complex subject. Obviously, I'm not saying, oh, you make a Discord server, all your problems go away. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm just saying the communal
it's
aspect.
worth a shot.
I'm saying the communal aspect could, this is something people can control on the player end, I think. But the dev and the things, they have a far bigger responsibility in terms of fixing the game in regards to PvP performance, or I think at this point general game performance, because I think some of that shit from PvP
it's bled over.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's leaking over. So you know what I mean? So
I think what it is, honestly, so they're having a load issue, is what Rich said, is from his streams, and the server load. Like I thought performance was going to be decent during mid-year. It was the worst mid-year performance I've seen in a long time.
Not just in terms of performance, but man, the population. Holy shit! I had a bad feeling last year because last summer I did mid-year, and compared to the year before that, 2020, it was dead, man. On the weekends.
Yeah.
At least on PCNA. I know PCU is a bit different because you guys have a much higher population than us, but I just was like...
I played, like, talking about like the future of my channel in general, I guess. I played for the first few days, and then I got on Elden Ring, and I've been on Elden Ring since, except for like one day. So I've really enjoyed Elden Ring, and I think I'm still going to do both. I'm still going to focus on ESO, but I think overall it's worth a shot to try and just try to keep up with all the changes and stuff. But I just can't. It's been a long time since I've had good performance on ESO, where skills worked when I pressed the buttons and that sort of thing. So I think a lot of it bleeds over into the streams. It bleeds over into your overall enjoyment, and people can notice that and can tell, like, all PvPers are always complaining and always upset. So if they think that, then it may be best just to play a different game for a little bit. And that's kind of what I've been doing. And I've really enjoyed Elden Ring. Elden Ring's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to play it right after this. Basically. Hell yeah, brother. How far are you?
I've beat it already.
Oh, what the?
What?
Damn.
I've beat it, and I'm making a PvP character right now. So
Nice.
I'm going to get into PvP and dabble in this space and see what sticks. Because I know a lot of people from my friends in my Discord, and people like Kirkhoff, a few people that you may not know, that do YouTube content and stuff. All of the ESO PvP content creators have played Elden Ring this past week. There's not a single content creator that I know of, except for like maybe Deltia, that's played ESO this past week. And that's bad.
Yeah.
For the PvP side of things, because I think the only thing that we had left, like the PvPers, was the
Content creation.
And that's still going to be there. I still want to do it, but if I enjoy Elden Ring more, I can't put my channel and my sanity
At stake.
over trying to do YouTube content for ESO when it may not get better. And if it's going to be years, then I don't cause I'm starting a business with my dad and all this other stuff, and I don't need the added stress of, oh, am I going to be able to PvP today or do some good builds or get some good footage? Where that's what also people don't understand is, like, whenever you do a build video on stuff, you're probably sitting there spending 6 to 10 to 12 hours trying to get some footage for a 20-minute video for a build, and trying to find a good sick 1vx clip to showcase the build. And here in the past while, I just do BG footage because I know the build works, and people can because my reputation, I don't give out trash builds. I don't give something that's not going to work. So like people trust me when I say that works, and they put it on and they're like, man, this thing's great. But I think also the aspect of is what I think is good from my perspective of like 1vxing and stuff. Like a 1v8 is like amazing, right? Pretty good. But like for somebody else that's newer, a 1v2 is like is better than my 1v8 to them. So there's different aspects of that I think content creators put too much pressure on themselves to look like they're this, this amazing player, when in all seriousness, you're not going to 1v8 good players in all reality.
Right.
You may be able to like 1v3, 1v2 with like Plague Break proccing or something like that, but you're not going to be able to actually like 1v8 like good players. So I don't know. I just think overall the content creation aspect, because I know Nice, his videos have been popping off on Elden Ring. I think he has a video that's got like 300 something thousand views on Elden Ring.
That's what you want.
And there's, from a business standpoint, Elden Ring is very lucrative right now to a content creator's wise, because there's a lot of community here for everything, and it is weird because I did a guide on a boss, one of the hardest bosses in the Dark Souls series, and people are like, thank you for helping me do this guide or helping me beat this boss, and I'm just like, this is a different dynamic than ESO in general. I don't think it's just, it may be just because I cover PvP, but the boss was hard in Elden Ring, and there's actually people that are appreciative of that. So it's a different dynamic than, like, a lot of playing this Elden Ring this past week has opened my eyes to a lot of things about content creation, about what, like a lot of.
You cut out.
Oh no.
Hello?
Hello?
Have less than 100 subscribers, and there's people with upwards of hundreds of thousands of views on a video because of just the search engine itself.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, it's a phenomenal thing to try to really learn. But I just went on a tangent there.
Yeah. No, because I don't think it's a tangent, because it is all tied in with the whole ESO thing, right?
Yeah.
Everything's tied in with the whole ESO PvP thing. It's hard, man. It's a really hard subject. Like, it really is. It's a really hard subject.
You'll probably see people coming back from Elden Ring.
For sure.
Just like we have with New World or whatever, like, shiny new toy, go and play with it for 2 months and then come back.
Yeah, but Ollie, the problem with that is it's been like, if it's like a tide, coming in on shore and then going back out, it's becoming less.
Right?
It's becoming a lot less. Like, I've noticed when PvPers went to New World, including content creators, like Fang Rush and whatever, they either stayed with New World or they went somewhere else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
instead of
not
coming
all of
back.
them came back.
And now it's the same thing's gonna happen with Elden Ring. I mean, I think Solomon's gonna stick with Elden Ring. I think. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he's not gonna. He's
We'll
gonna
see.
do.
Yeah.
I think honestly, but in all seriousness, the evergreen content of the videos you post in this next 2 or 3 weeks can really help the longevity.
He caught out again.
Oh no! Fuck.
Damn it. I think he was gonna say longevity of your channel.
2 or 3 years ago,
Oh, cut out. You cut out. Longevity.
the longevity of the evergreen content right now on Elden Ring is doing a video right now
Right.
that people are going to watch 3 years from now on how to
Right.
get an exact weapon.
Right.
So there's that aspect of as well, where ESO it's I post a video for this patch and then the next patch is outdated, so I got to update it again. So there's not evergreen content to the same extent.
Yeah. Even like the fundamental guidance, like what is it? The Undaunted shit, the pledges, and like all that's gonna be updated by like every year or shit.
People are still watching my VMA Thracians video from like 2 years ago. I don't know why they're doing that.
People don't read titles or look at the dates. They're like, "Oh, is this still viable?" Or like whatever. I'm like, "Bro, this was 4 years ago when I had like a laptop."
Thracians doesn't even work like that anymore.
I get comments on my old builds like from like 9 months ago, and I'm on my like Stam DK, and I'm like,
Crazy.
"Is this thing still good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, kind of," but
Bro,
I think a lot's changed since then.
God, people can't think, man. Come on, man. Just look at the date. At least look at the date,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very hard subject. But yeah, I think with Elden Ring, I think less people are gonna come back, man. And then Lost Ark, less people are gonna come back.
Yep.
There's more games right now. What is it? Fucking Forbidden. There's gonna be Fable. There's gonna be. There's so many. That's the thing. I think this year is gonna be not good for ESO. There's so many games coming in. There's so many games that have come out already in the first 2 months of the year. It's insane. It's a
and
really
these
great
people,
year.
they've also a lot of these other game companies. I don't know if ZOS is fully adapted, but with the COVID stuff and all that, like I think that these other companies are pretty like they're working from home now, so they're adapted to it. While ZOS may be still a little bit, you know.
No, they've adapted.
Yeah.
They've adapted. The past 2 chapters they put out, right?
But there was.
They're pushing out the same amount of content now as they were like pre-COVID.
But did you their retrospective letter? They said that they were really exhausted. So you could imagine the psychological aspect of them pushing out the same content, but not being able to collaborate the same ways.
Right. Yeah.
That because like I could imagine like because I did construction with my dad, like trying to do construction with my dad through a phone or through a video conference is not the same thing as him, helping me with this or holding the piece of board or whatever, right? So, you get it, right? So it's
yeah.
I definitely think that's one sympathy that I have given to ZOS is I understand the reality aspect of what they were doing. And how COVID really hit them hard, I would say.
Yeah, I think it hit everybody hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy working from home without the distractions of annoying people.
Oh, dude, let me tell you something. Teaching, or even like learning through Zoom. Oh my god, I never want to do that shit again. Fuck that.
You can't throw like whiteboard pens at students, can you?
No, there's like a certain level of engagement that just isn't there.
No.
Like even if I ask people to turn on their cameras or whatever, it's like I don't do that because it's like it doesn't matter. I don't think the face cam shit matters, in my opinion. I know a lot of other like professors have done that shit or teachers have done that shit, but like I don't think it matters.
See,
I
graduated from college in 2019, right before COVID hit, and I got my associate's degree in network administration. But so I did that, and I had a online class, and I absolutely hated online classes. They're so bad. I hate.
Yep. 100%.
Learn like that. I can't learn online like that.
Yeah.
Now I've actually learned more.
Godzilla keeps cutting you out.
Come on, Godzilla, stay with us.
I'll fill it.
Looking up a question. YouTube University.
Yeah.
It honestly helped you. Like doing a YouTube channel, like all you need is on YouTube. Like how to start a YouTube channel on YouTube. That's literally it. And you just look up videos on different ideas, hear others' perspectives, and just binge watch for a few months, and you can really start a channel. Easy doing that. But you just got to do it,
Yeah. Oh man.
Was there something else you want to talk about? Because you mentioned earlier, but we've went on several different avenues.
I think we touched on a lot of complicated subjects for sure. I mean, do you have anything you want to talk about at all? Anything you're curious about, or you wanna get off your chest, or like tell people,
Not really. I mean,
not really.
I would like to maybe ask you to help me with maybe trying to set up that PvP Discord thing, maybe, if you would be willing to.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It doesn't have to be a lot. Just like mainly
it's just. I mean,
or if you know somebody that could help.
I can help, but like, I've been avoiding PvPers recently.
I was gonna say, like, I think it's like a.
But fuck it, like if everybody is willing to go in on it, I'll fucking go in.
Well, it mainly. So what I'm thinking, like the idea of it, and we could talk of it off of more, but I think it would be more or less just organizing content creators and people that like just one central hub rather than just mine or somebody else's.
Yeah, I can help. I can help.
I think it's got to
can't-
be a bit of a like passion project, and I feel like Nefus isn't passionate about PvP.
No, I'm passionate about the players. I don't
Sure,
give
yeah,
a
yeah,
shit
yeah.
about. Well, actually, I don't know. It's complicated for me. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how to describe this shit. But like, when I see PvP, I feel bad, dude. I really do. And I understand. That's the worst part. Like, I wish I
Yeah.
didn't understand what's
You-
going on. I
well,
wish I
they
didn't
do-
understand.
They deserve a bigger voice than they get.
Well,
PvP.
I just wish I didn't understand like why a lot more people are behaving the way they are now. That's one thing I just I don't know, man. I wish because I understand because I went to PlayStation recently, and I was streaming, and, ESO from there, and this random PvPer starts like whispering me like on stream like these hate tales. What was his fucking name?
Why?
Shady or whatever. Anyway, I'm like,
What
I understand.
I know Shady.
Yeah,
I know
whatever
him.
the fuck dumb fuck's name is. But anyway,
Oh no.
but I couldn't even be mad because I understand why PvPers are doing this kind of shit because there's nothing else to do. That's the fucked up part. I understand. Like I get it, man. Whatever.
He's more of a.
I don't give a shit. I get
Yeah.
why. I get everything. But yeah, whatever, man. Like I sympathize. So that's why I'm not like whatever about it. But then
I just think it's also because you have a channel, and I think that people like to mess with people that have a channel. Honestly, as
but
well.
but I'm gonna be real with you.
Because
Like,
he did the same thing to Ness too. They had something going on with as well.
Yeah. But like it seems like in the past year and a half, like almost all the incidents, both in and outside of the game, have involved PvPers. I'm not saying like all PvPers. I'm just saying like there's a trend, and I understand why there's a trend. So yeah, I mean, I'll help. I'm more than done. I mean, everybody's willing to go, and I'm willing to help. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Maybe worth a try.
I
Yeah,
reckon.
yeah. I would love to. I would love to try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Not that I could think of.
Okay.
Hmm.
We can open it up to some questions.
questions
from chat.
We can wrap it up.
See what we get.
I really do appreciate you taking the time, by the way, for the podcast.
No problem, man.
Yeah. And
I was expecting to see like a little tiny Godzilla.
well, actually, I should have asked. Like, here's my first question, I guess, before chat starts asking questions. Why? What's the story behind the name? You mentioned the real OGs earlier, but then why Godzilla?
So the real Godzilla, well, so I started off as like Godzilla 49, like a long time ago. Like it was like that was my football number in high school, and
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know why I think it was like I don't even know. It was I think it was like Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2 or something like that. I don't even remember when I made my gamer tag, but I don't know. I just thought Godzilla was cool and stuck with that. And then I guess back in like 2019-ish, me and a few friends, this guy was named the Real Valko. We call him the real Volcano, just to mess with him. And he was one of my friends, and we made like a group, like a small scale group, just with the real and then whatever name. So we did that and just stuck from there. We got like we had a bunch of people that we did PvP with, and my guild. It's small, like 30 people, just people that I knew from when I started the game up until really doing content and stuff, and added a few people since. But it was a small group of. We did Mid-Year Mayhems in 2018, 2019, and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. But the real actually came from Valko, and I kind of like copied him a little bit, and we all just made a group.
Okay. That's a good background story. How does Godzilla feel about grilling sausage? Sausage. I think this question by Imperial XI sounds good. Sausage. Grilling sausage.
Like what kind of what sausage are we talking about?
I It's like a little emoji with a
Sausage.
sausage on a grill.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know what is he
I
expecting me to answer.
love
Do you?
bratwurst.
No, yeah.
Personally.
Do you? Okay, so you go to a barbecue. Are you doing a sausage or are you doing burger?
Definitely a burger.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
Just get some tomatoes, lettuce, salt
Mm.
and pepper, mayonnaise. You can't
Mm.
beat that, dude. With some nice cheese melted on there. You can't beat that.
What kind of cheese?
I like pepper jack.
All right,
personally.
all right. Good.
All
good.
right. Okay. See what you're putting down.
It can't be that. I hate so like I can't stand the cheap cheese. That stuff is gross.
Oh my god, you talking about the craft cheese, aren't you? Oh
Dude.
lord.
The
Dude,
slices.
it has to be. It has to be.
Has to be
it
real
has to be,
cheese.
Sargento. It has to be. That's the best cheese, in my opinion. It has to be. I can't stand the crappy cheese. That stuff is disgusting.
Gross. It ruins the meat, in my opinion.
It does.
Like the taste and like
You
I
get-
don't know, it's so salty.
You get good
too.
cheese, and it's a good burger.
Yeah. Damn, now you're making me hungry. Who's your favorite YouTuber?
My favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
Well,
This question comes from Sawman UK. Just.
oh, okay.
Well, you have to tell him that. Come on.
I mean, like, I know what he was trying to insinuate, but I don't know. I really liked his name is True Talent. He plays Dead by Daylight.
Oh, okay.
I would like to
Unexpected.
kind of
Collab.
he's a no collab. He's a British guy, and he does different things. But I just like his I like watching people that have intellect. I don't know if this sounds dumb or what, but people that are actually
yeah.
smart.
Mhm.
Smart British guys. Okay.
Well, not smart British guys like that. What I'm meaning, like, is somebody that actually knows what they're talking about and has like actual brain that doesn't just repeat what other people say, that actually thinks for themselves.
Do
That
what
sort of
other
thing.
people say.
You know,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
the
that's
the people I like. The people that actually think for themselves.
Pink's got competition.
No.
That's
So
all.
Pink's amazing. She
Yeah.
thinks for herself. That's why I like her.
I really
she's-
love the fact that you guys met in ESO. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
cute.
amazing.
She's been getting upset at me for playing Elden Ring the past few days. I don't have to play some ESO.
Yo, I saw this post on Reddit about like the boyfriend like playing Elden Ring and ignoring the girlfriend. Is that you?
No. She's been busy with I think she's gonna have to sell, or they're gonna have to move
Mhm.
her and her family, because I think they're gonna sell their house and do
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So she's been real busy the past while, anyways.
Yeah, in real
How-
life
how many-
plans and, moving in. Or
Yeah,
not on the table yet.
Well, I gotta get a house first. I gotta
Yeah.
buy a house.
Just make the house.
Yeah. Financially, yeah.
No, just
Because that's what, like, once I get this business going with my dad, I'll probably end up building or buying a
yourself.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just build it
Yeah,
yourself
cool.
easy.
yeah, yeah. I could. I just need help with the foundation. That'd be it. I could do everything else with my dad.
Please.
So
All right.
How many pledges of Mara have you and Pink got between you? Like, how many characters have you got married together?
Probably 2.
it cut out again.
Oh,
What did you say? Pledges of Mara?
Oh.
You said?
Yeah, how many of those have you got together with Pink?
I think we have at least 2 or 3. I think.
okay.
Thank you.
Damn.
Uh,
Where did you get your inspiration from to become a ESO PvPer? Okay, that's a good one.
My inspiration.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think like everybody else, I watched Cypher and Deltia back in the day. I actually binge watched Deltia's videos when I first started on console.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have picked Templar back in the day first, but I
he
picked.
buried his Templar, man. He's
I,
going to re-release that video, apparently. He promised me.
Okay.
I started off on a Nightblade, a Standblade.
Yeah.
And it was it was still, looking back, it was still a good decision. Now you couldn't go wrong with Templar or Nightblade back then. But that's who I started watching at first. And then King Richard, Lefty Lucy, all those guys. But eventually I just noticed that at least like, 'cause I have all this ideas and all this theory crafting, and I enjoy that. That's one of the things that I think is unseen about the PvP community is like a lot of it's just like to make builds. Like that's the coolest thing about it. The combat's great and all, but the theory crafting and using your brain to make builds and different ways to play and trying to find different things you can do, I think is really fun.
Yeah.
So that aspect is what I really enjoy at this current time, is making builds and testing out different things. But yeah, that's kind of, I just noticed there was a void where I could maybe provide some insight to people. And that's where I really started, is just really making builds and helping people out.
If Zos were to add, if Zos were to add in weapon, what would Godzilla like to see added?
I want to see a sword and rune.
Cut out. A sword. He said sword and rune. Yeah.
Sword and
Staff.
Okay.
Staff.
Okay. Just something type of like a maybe even like a bow staff, or just something different than the typical stuff we got. Like a one hand in like.
Cut out again.
Shit.
I feel like the more passionate he gets, the more like the internet gets disrupted.
Like a sword and then like flames in your other hand or something. You know, I think that would be cool.
I would have thought you'd like a sort of 500% scaler, and you can go and kick down keeps and stuff. You know.
What?
like a Godzilla.
We have all drum already.
I'm a little bit more practical. I would like to see some type of one hand and magic type of aspect, or being able to go a staff and a shield or something, just something different.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Like, because imagine if you could, one hand like a mini staff or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
wand. Wingardium Leviosa. Leviosa. That'd be cool. Question from a PvE player who started PvPing recently. How do I enjoy PvP alone? What am I supposed to do? I have 0 friends in ESO. They all quit years ago.
Play Max up.
No. If you play ESO alone, the 2 things you could do is play a Nightblade.
Cut out again. Oh, I don't think he can hear me. I say he cuts out.
My Calrian's build. It's an amazing spec.
Can you repeat that again? Cut out again.
Oh, sorry.
Calrian stam. You said Nightblade? Then you cut out again.
Oh shit.
Shit.
Godzilla, please.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back now. Hey, what's up?
Sorry, my internet's been.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Acting up.
It's whatever.
It's been doing this for the
You can't build an internet.
Yeah, dude. I've.
Oh, fuck, he's gone.
He needs to construct his internet. Not a house.
I think you and your dad need to build a new router.
Router?
Router? It's a router, mate.
Oh no.
Fuck. Is he gone?
He's
Is he gone forever?
I don't know.
Zilla.
Still here.
Zilla.
Maybe he disconnected fully. A router.
Router.
A router.
Router.
British, isn't it?
British. What?
About what?
What bowl of water?
What?
Don't say water.
Are we back now?
Yeah, what's up? Welcome back.
Oh,
Hey,
dude.
welcome.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm just getting so irritated at my internet. It's been so bad.
Yeah.
Nightblade. That's the class. I'm
Mm.
gonna get it out fast. Nightblade.
Yeah.
Nightblade, okay.
Colorians.
I'm sorry.
If you have 0 friends in ESO, you play Nightblade. If you don't want to have friends, play Maxwork.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Nightblade's the best though.
Okay.
For bombing, ganking, whatever, Nightblade's the best for solo if you don't have friends.
Mm.
But you won't make friends. Well, at least for the enemy, because you just remove the hairline.
I don't know. I've seen some people make friends. After there's like moments where this kind of goes back to our earlier discussions, like how do you change someone's perception? I've had PvPers tell me these stories where they get whispered, "You fucking cheater, I'm reporting you." Then they actually like have a conversation with these people, and then they become friends, or like.
Well, that's I've had that as well, where somebody said I'm trash, and then it's come 1v1 me, and then they actually become a really good friend.
Yeah. I mean, and if that can be produced,
but
some sort of.
But I think that aspect comes from, just because I beat them.
You think so? Oh, you cut out again.
Shit. I think he was going to say play a hot girl character and then people would talk to you.
Oh.
That's what I was going to say.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
Hey,
You're fine. You're fine.
good evening.
What I was trying to say is just because if I were to beat them in a duel or something, is it still doing it? Oh my goodness, dude.
No, you're
No, you're here. You're here.
Golly, bro. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it out fast.
I'll lower my hand when you're not here.
Okay. Well, then your hand will freeze.
Oh shit.
It's okay. I just get getting so irritated at it.
You're fine.
But, like, what were we talking about? Oh, the respect thing. So if I killed somebody in a duel or something and they didn't respect me, if I would have lost, they still wouldn't have respected me anyway. So I think it's just depends on how you act when you kill them. Like if you don't have any quarrel with them in the first place, and you just respect them regardless of whatever they're saying and just beat them, then they somehow respect you after that, which is weird. But
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. Like they would expect to be how should I say it?
they would expect to be getting
Attacked.
toxic back.
Right.
But you just like, okay, I beat you. Like it's done. Like
But yeah,
Yeah.
if that can be produced though on a bigger scale, that's where it's at, I think.
Yeah.
But
it's worth a shot.
next question: how to patch KDE2 for free BSD? What is that?
What does that mean?
Is that a programming question?
I don't know.
How to patch KDE2 from free BSD? We're gonna skip that one. What was your favorite patch in PvP?
Well, I know a lot of PvPers that talk about 1.6, but
Oh god, here we go.
that's the glory days.
Oh, with
Yeah,
the DKs
no,
with the like billion standards.
1.6 or pre 1.6, man. If I had a fucking dime for every time a PvP brought that shit up, or the lighting patch, oh my
Dynamic
God.
old gen. That's what I miss a
Yeah.
lot. I think if they added some of those aspects back into the game, and also that was before Battle Spirit, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that
so
was 1.5, somewhere around
yeah,
there.
it was a long time ago before a lot of people were in the game. But that was. I mean, you have to give that one. But I also enjoyed when Warden first came out. There was some PvP content to do with Morrowind.
Yeah.
Stamden was busted.
Battlegrounds
with-
came out then as well.
with BGs were out. That's what the PvP content was.
Right? Yeah.
And Steel Tornado was 10 meters, I think,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
undodgeable. 100% execute at low health,
That shit was
and spin to
hilarious.
win. Sub assault was unblockable. You couldn't block it.
Shit was
Those
wild
are the
back
days.
then, man. Shit was wild back then.
Dawnbreaker cast, whenever you pressed it, it didn't have a delay.
Oh, I missed that,
Yeah.
man. I really do.
Yeah. Permafrost used to CC, so it used to stun people like Arctic Blast does now.
Oh yeah.
So you could stun people inside the permafrost with spin to win. Yeah, that was my build. It was Fury and New Moon
Yeah.
with Potato. I think it was with Potato Backbar. That's when the first Potato came out, and then it changed to Vate eventually. But that's recently.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have.
I would say Morrowind would be my favorite.
Morrowind. Okay.
Sure.
All right. I think we have one last question. How long does it take to get a following and get comfortable talking on the mic? I am used to being on camera. I think when I move to do Twitch, I'll get a Twitch following. Maybe I'll ask in 1 to 4 months, but I guess the question is, how long does it take to get a following?
Well, it's all relative to a lot of things.
Mhm.
Like, I think I hit it at a good time personally, and like there wasn't a lot of people doing what I was doing. I think except for Is There No One Else was really the only person that was doing something similar to me at that time, like theory crafting builds and whatnot. And that's this aspect I really enjoyed, so I decided to kind of cover that. But there just has to be a need for it, for one, but also not even necessarily a need, but if you want to do it, it just takes time. Just don't expect to get it overnight.
Oh, yeah.
It
Right.
takes time. It takes a lot of patience. Just be patient and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Focus on other things as well as you're doing it. And if it grows, great, but don't expect to do it just because of the money. The money is just a secondary. thing that's just a bonus in itself.
For sure.
Now you can definitely tilt and adjust your lifestyle around it if you can start to make it sustainable. But just be yourself. That's really the only thing. And talking on the mic,
That's ironic. First rule of talking on the mic is make sure you've got a good internet connection.
Yeah, audio is a very important part of
there we go.
content
We're
creation.
back now.
Welcome back.
Hi.
You're talking about talking to your mic and then you cut out.
Yeah. So just talking on the mic was definitely a hard thing to learn how to do. It takes time.
Yeah. Editing videos and listening to your own voice back. Ugh.
Yeah,
Sure.
it feels weird. It feels weird, but eventually you just focus on what you're saying rather than what you sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely,
don't
it's
watch my
definitely
videos.
weird.
I don't watch my videos. After I post my video,
how do you
I don't watch my videos. Not a single time.
How do you edit them? You must have to listen to. I edit most of mine.
Well, during editing, I of course have to listen, but after I post it, I don't want to watch it.
Oh yeah, no,
My-
sure.
I just cringe every time I hear my voice, man. I just can't bear to hear it.
But you have a radio voice though. Like mine's like higher. Mine's higher pitch. So mine's not as good as yours for radio.
No, it's I don't know how to describe it.
you
It just
both
makes me
sound good.
cringe. It really does. I just hate listening to myself.
But I think it's just all relative. Just you think you sound weird just because you don't hear yourself talk like that. Because
Yeah.
you hear it from your perspective and it sounds different.
Yeah, apparently it's
Yes.
something to do with like you hear your own voice differently when you speak because of like the
Correct.
vibrations
Oh.
or whatever.
I physically wince, man. Every time like I hear myself, I just can't do it. I really can't. I just fuck that. But yeah, I think that was the last question,
Mhm.
and we can wrap it
Yeah.
up. Oh, we've been going
Yeah.
for a
So
while.
where do we find you, Godzilla?
Yeah.
If we wanna-
The Real Godzilla on YouTube. That's pretty much. I mean, I have a Twitter, but I haven't really messed with that too much yet. I don't even know what my Twitter handle is. I just made it like a few weeks ago. I just haven't really messed with it.
Isn't it at Fake Godzilla or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it is.
at fake.
The fake God.
The Fake Godzilla. Yeah, there you go. Oh fuck.
But yeah, that's. I have a Twitch.
You said Twitch. I was Twitch.
There's a Twitch.
He has a Twitch, I think, because he was forced to stream momentarily after that copyright strike.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course. Can we find his Twitch?
But I think he streams on YouTube.
Oh yeah, true. Go follow on YouTube. It's the best place, I think.
We'll give him a minute or so, and if he does what. If he doesn't, well, we can just wrap this up.
Poor
It's all
Godzilla.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I think,
Yeah. Shout out. Oh, let's do a shout out.
oh no. Yeah. Don't worry. When this video gets posted, it'll have his, like, channel name on the title and stuff on YouTube.
True.
And, of course, Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't think he's coming back. You can just...
Oh ye of little faith.
Yeah, we can just wrap it up, but yeah, what do you think? That was a good podcast. I think.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
It's more chilled. I enjoyed it. I'm not
More chill compared to the 17th episode.
Yeah, I'm not left scratching my head.
Oh, he's gone. He's actually gone.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Well, he's back.
Hey,
Maybe
There.
not.
Oh my
Welcome
goodness,
back.
dude.
Welcome
it's
back.
fine. It's fine. Everyone's following you on YouTube now. Don't
I'm
worry.
Yeah.
sorry.
You're good.
This is annoying me. It does it in my streams too, dude. It pisses me off. I have to get a house that actually has more reliable internet because this sucks. I have
Oh.
T-Mobile. It works great, but it doesn't work during the days for whatever reason.
Ah, shit.
Wait,
I
T-Mobile
can only
is your
str-
ISP.
Yeah, dude. It's
Oh.
actually it's a home internet. It's pretty
Oh.
great for a year,
This
and it's kind of
first time I've heard T-Mobile has internet.
Yeah, I thought they
Yeah.
just did.
Yeah,
like,
it's-
mobile
That dude,
itself.
yeah.
it's actually pretty cool because like it sucks because like I would rather have Comcast or something more reliable, but Comcast is a mile down my road on both directions, not in the middle, so I
Okay.
can't get it where I'm at. So that sucks.
Gotcha.
Or it's going to cost $40,000 to get it on my road. So
Ah, fuck.
And it's not like I live in the freaking boonies either. It's like freaking. It's just annoying.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
We can wrap it up. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, before I
Thank you
disconnect
so
again.
much. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
it's been
so
great
much.
having you, man.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate
so
you
much.
guys for having me.
Yeah,
take
appreciate you for
It
coming
was,
on.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Go follow him.
And
subscribe,
in regards to
like
Twitter,
us.
I think definitely keep it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outcast gave me the same advice. I think at this point, what was it, a year and a half ago, and then it's been nice connecting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't engage with the cesspit. Don't get into the mud wrestling. Just
Yep.
hang out with the cool kids.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Take care.
yeah.
Cheerio.
Take care, Ollie. Take care.
Bye.
Godzilla.
Take care.
Yeah.
No,
See you
you
soon.
take care.
Okay.
No, you take care.